been watching and waiting for our return.
Well, the wait is over. We're about to give people what they want and what they need, so you better get ready. Dennis, where you been? I've been looking for you.
What's going on, Sister Sarai? You know I've been around.
Been around where?
Here, there, everywhere.
Guess what time it is, though?
What time is it?
It's time for the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show.
I mean, what's that?
You know exactly what that is. Quit playing. It's our new radio show, sponsored by Higher Dimension Radio, hosted by me, yours truly, Sister Soraya, and you, Brother Dennis Walton.
Well, it's about time. I mean, you know the whole world been watching and ready for our return.
Well, we can let them know that the wait is over, because we're about to give them what they need and what they want, so you better be ready.
Ready for what, Sister Soraya?
Ready for news, information, stimulating conversation, great gospel music, and a whole lot more every magnificent Monday from noon until 3 p.m.
Well, that time has finally come, so you can start your week off with Soul of the City, the world's #1 gospel radio show, hosted by Sister Soraya and me, Brother Dennis Walton, sponsored by HD Radio, where you can imagine more.
Oh, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our website, hdmediagrp.com.
It's HD Radio, where you can imagine more.
Hey! What's up? Good afternoon to you. Welcome back to another edition to the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show inside this blessed, miraculous Monday, motivational, moving Monday. It is the 10th day of January 2022. Good afternoon to you, Brother Dennis Walt.
Hey, Sister Soraya.
Hey.
I was told I need to be more upbeat.
Uh-huh.
Speak a little louder and speak more into the mic so that into the mic.
Yes.
Correct my English.
Yes, there you go.
You know, all that good stuff.
Good afternoon to you. So good to see you again,
You
Brother Dennis
well,
Walton.
well.
Yes, sir. It is 7 degrees outside here in the mill. Good afternoon to you and the world. Single digits on this morning, but it is, I see a -12. OMG. Wait a minute. That's a -12, y'all.
That's a -12 for when?
We are right now?
It's
Yeah, yes it is.
It didn't feel like it was that cold when I came up in here.
Okay, well, there's a Windshield Advisory for Ozaukee County, Washington County, Dodge, Fond du Lac, and Sheboygan counties until noon today. Of course, bitterly cold again today, but a lot of sunshine outside. And
so,
yeah.
So what's the temperature right now?
Okay, temperature right now, it says 12 degrees.
So where you get the minus from?
I see. It says it feels like -12.
Oh, no, I don't feel like it.
Okay, it don't feel like, but
well, I do have on like a couple layers of underwear.
Right. Clean. Let's just say clean.
Very clean.
Okay, good. All right.
Very, very clean.
Whew. All right. So, but they said it's 7 degrees outside, but it feels like -12. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God for the sun. Whoa. I'm telling you.
The sun is absolutely beautiful.
The sun makes a difference.
So it makes it feel like
yes,
it's not as cold.
Right.
The sun is shining so bright.
Definitely. So tomorrow, though, it says supposed to be windy, 34 degrees.
Okay.
Bit of a heat wave. All right.
Yes, a lot of a heat wave.
Mm-hmm.
It was cold. It was cold over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
It was cold last night.
Yes, it was.
I took my daughter to the movies. And
what y'all go see?
Spider-Man.
Oh, I heard that was good.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
For those of us who are like die-hard Spider-Man, like fans, because because we go way back. So to watch all the new stuff that they're doing right now, and just how they bring it together with all the animation and the story plots. In the beginning, it kind of threw me for a loop because they was just doing too much.
Okay.
But it all made sense in the end.
It's
okay. Like they just incorporating all the new world ideologies into today's superhero characters.
For sure.
Back then it was just squirt a web out his arm and swing from here to there.
Took you a minute, huh?
Yeah, now it's just they going into other universes and worlds and all kind of stuff. It was
what's really going on?
It was very interesting.
Yeah, my nephew, he was the first one to I guess when it first came out, so that was a bit excited for him. So he kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but how old is your nephew?
15. So he was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so like to them, all of the new stuff that they're seeing is what they're getting accustomed to.
That's right.
From the origin of the world of Marvel and comics.
Right.
And then you just like, wow, just to see where, comic books and superheroes have evolved.
That's right. Yeah.
But it still was pretty good.
Absolutely.
I almost cried when Aunt May died.
Oh, wow. You done spoiled it for some people that ain't saw it yet.
I'm sorry.
Too late. Sorry. All right.
Everybody done saw it by now. I'm the only one who's late.
All right, y'all. Nevertheless, we are back and live and in color. So let's take care of a few things right now. Don't forget, we are on live, y'all. We are on live right now. We are on live right now. Don't forget to download the app. Don't forget to download that app right now. HD Radio Online. HD Radio Online right now. Do it right now. It's free, y'all. Go online right now. All you got to do, go to your mobile device right now and type in HD Radio Online on your mobile device and type in HD Radio Online. Dennis.
Yes.
Do you have that on your phone right now?
I do have it on my phone.
Okay. Do you tell your friends and family?
I tell, what I do is I literally take people's phone out of their hands and I go to the app store and I download the app for them.
Okay. Perfect.
That's what I do. I'll force it.
What'd you say? Give me your phone.
Give me your phone. Like this, go to your app store.
Go to your app store, give me your phone.
Let me do it.
Okay.
And I'll make sure.
Okay.
I'll make sure. I'll send a shout out to my brother Ed Kelly.
Okay.
One of the people who I just happened to take his phone.
Wonderful.
My good brothers.
Okay.
If you listening, brother Ed.
Wonderful.
Hey, shout out to you, of course.
All right.
Another one of those, love great gospel music.
Okay.
And for those who haven't been, if you haven't had the opportunity to listen to this app by now, you are just missing out on a treat.
Yes.
If you love great inspirational music. So do not cheat yourself like that.
Yeah.
If you have the opportunity, if you are listening to me right now or you can hear me, go to the app. Go to the app.
Yes.
On HD Radio Online.
HD Radio Online.
One word.
One word. That's
Once
right.
you download that app, you will not be disappointed.
Absolutely.
So shout out to everyone who is listening, who
sure.
has downloaded the app. We really appreciate you for sticking in there with us.
Yes.
And like I said, we're picking up the pace. We're going to get it moving. It's 2022. And I am excited, but it's the 10th already. Man, you're going to look up in springtime.
Oh, my God, don't remind me. So we have a lot of story for you today. Coming up at 12:30 p.m., we do have a best-selling author today coming up at 12:30 p.m. And then we have another phenomenal exclusive interview coming up at 1:30 p.m. today. Y'all got to check it out, all right?
Yeah.
So we have 2 interviews today, and oh, my God.
Yeah, this interview with his first brother is a dear friend of mine, good friend who I went to high school with. At the time when I came into high school, I was underclassman. He was upperclassman.
Okay.
And, when you first come into high school, you got all these guys that you look up to. You got all these athletes and stuff. And he was one of them football players. That, they'd be in the weight room screaming and hollering and lifting 1,000 pounds worth of weights and stuff.
Okay.
And then, I'm a little freshman.
Right.
Wanting to be like them one day.
So did he still go to play NFL or what?
No. He just went to college.
He went to college. Okay.
It was just, football was their life.
Oh, right.
But his brother is Larry Purdue, aka Tank, who played fullback at Marshall.
Okay.
For the Marshall Eagles.
Cool.
And, he just did a lot of things in that era in which we grew up.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk a lot more about that, but I'm excited to have Brother Larry Tank Purdue on the show as, alumni of Marshall, as well as, just a friend who's always been a great positive person that I've known. And now he's writing books. So I've got a chance to read through some of the material, and it's excellent.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to him. And then, of course, we have Tyree Davis.
Yes.
We will be talking about the Davis story, the Tyree Davis story at 1:30.
Yeah.
And this is another good friend of mine who had a very unfortunate situation to where he was unjustly shot by the police, the Milwaukee Police Department.
Wow.
And he's been going through a lot with, just resolving that circumstance to where, so they ended up shooting him for no reason. I mean, he was not doing anything wrong.
Right.
He was actually became a victim of the circumstance and just the struggle that he's had to endure.
Yes.
To get his life back on track after such a traumatizing experience, him and his family, and then what he's doing to just move forward and just, again, live a normal life post something so traumatizing.
Right.
We're going to be talking about that. So that'll be at 1:30.
Right.
We'll be talking about the Tyree Davis story.
Then you know what?
A victim of police brutality or
and you know what, Dennis?
Negligence.
And I just thank God that he lived.
Yeah. When you guys see what actually happened to him, it's just going to.
Oh my God.
Man,
make
you look at life differently.
It does, and when you sent me when I watched that video, I mean, I had to watch it like more than one time. Like, it was just unbelievable, and then how it was all captured on video.
Yeah, well, just even to get the video, he had to go through so many different things. And he's going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it. I've been helping him with this case. That's actually how I met him. I heard his story.
Right.
He wasn't being treated fairly.
Right.
He was basically just being victimized through the system and through the circumstance, and that's how we came together.
Okay.
And again, when you just hear this story, it is a powerful testimony of perseverance in overcoming adversity. And what that looks like today for him. So that's going to be a really good story. I mean, really, it's going to be a really good interview. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, as well. All right, 13 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. All right, over the weekend, a weekend crash left a Milwaukee man dead and another arrested. It happened on Milwaukee's South Side early on Saturday, January 8th. More than 24 hours later, Fox 6 found debris from the crash in the area near Cesar Chavez and Scott Street. Police say the impact of the crash caused the two vehicles to hit the light pole. A Milwaukee man, 40, he did not survive.
And you said this was...
He was on his way to work.
This was when?
On Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Okay. Driving. A 20-year-old was driving recklessly. Yeah, Milwaukee father was killed. So definitely praying for that family. Yeah. Early in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, father was on his way to work.
6 o'clock in the morning.
6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God.
You're out driving recklessly, and
again, it is just frightening out here.
It is.
Like, it's no other way to say it.
There's no other way to say it.
There are no tough guys out here.
Yeah.
Anybody could become a victim.
Anybody, yeah.
Of any circumstance.
And I know you said when you on your way home last night, you saw a terrible crash last night.
This is what happened.
Yeah.
I dropped my daughter off. We had just left the movies. We went to go see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I'm always in prayer, no matter what. I'm always in my head. I'm in prayer. Like, even when I'm just riding by myself, I'm talking to God a lot of times. People might think I be talking on my cell phone or my Bluetooth, but I be Bluetooth talking to God.
Okay. Yeah.
Forgive me for my sins. Yeah. God, make me a better person. Please let me get home safely. I just be having my little small talk with God when I be in the car by myself.
Not the only one.
So I'm driving up Fond du Lac. I'm
Yeah.
actually in prayer. I'm just praying for myself, praying for my children,
My
praying
God.
for my community. That's what I do sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And then right while I'm praying, right, I'm driving up Fond du Lac. This is a true story. Right while I'm praying, I'm driving up Fond du Lac, and all the lights just go out. So I'm like, all the lights just go out on Fond du Lac, right?
Wow.
I'm like, what? I'm like, is Spider-Man here? You know, have we entered into another dimension or what? Because that's how it went. It just like group just went out all the lights, right?
Wow.
So as I'm trying to figure out why all the lights that went out,
Mm-hmm.
as I get further up Fond du Lac, right up to Fond du Lac and Keith,
Mm-hmm.
I see just the most horrific car accident.
Wow.
2 cars that hit each other. They didn't run over light pole. They smashed. I'm talking about smashed the light pole into little bitty pieces. And so the cars are like totaled out.
Oh my God.
And then all you see is, you know, people jumping out with hoods and pants hanging down, running across the street.
Wow.
Grabbing stuff out of the car and just running, and I was just like, "Wow,
My God.
it was so bad."
Oh.
But I get so tired of just seeing
Yeah.
somebody crashing into somebody, and then next thing you know, everybody jumping out the car, running, grabbing guns and weed and alcohol and whatever they and running off into you know, behind a house or through an alley or something. Everybody scrambling like that is just the worst sight ever.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know if you didn't plow through the light or you didn't had a speeding infraction and you done ran over somebody. And now only thing you can do is jump out the car and start running.
Oh my God.
And it's just like we just think this, like we've just got to the point where we think this behavior is just normal, right? And one thing that we're doing wrong as adults, I think in this community, I think that we're doing a horrible job with raising our youth properly and communicating with the younger generation properly. And the reason why I say that, I think that a lot of older people have, and not me per se, but I'm saying I'm gonna just speak to all of us overall, because I talk to young people all the time and I check them as much as I can, just like I praise them as much as I can. But a lot of us have become cowards. We have become cowardly adults to the point where we are failing the young people because we so much of a coward that we won't talk to them and tell them that they're wrong.
Right.
We're sitting here and we're just accepting all of the negative behaviors that they do. We make all these excuses about the negative behaviors that they do. We come up with every reason why they're doing all of these horrific things. And as adults, we're not checking them and telling them that they're wrong and holding them accountable for their behavior. And I just think as in the Black community in particular, we out of order for that. Because you just see all these young people just with the worst behavior because no one is saying anything to them. Everyone's afraid of them. We're not addressing the behavior. And in the midst of that, since we have let the youth run wild, we have become victims in our community of these circumstances where the quality of life is deteriorated to a point where you can't even drive down the street. And we can only blame ourselves for being cowards and not talking to our young people and checking them when they wrong. And a lot of the men just afraid. You sitting here watching the kids, you know, the men, the adult men and women, we're allowing the young ladies to just be as ratchet as they want to be.
It's like, where did we go wrong, Dennis?
I'm telling you what we went wrong. As adults, where we are going wrong as adults in our community, we have just allowed our children to go unchecked. And we keep making every excuse for their poor behavior instead of us being responsible for making sure that they're doing the right things. And the more I don't care, they come in the house with guns, they shooting, they killing, they doing everything wrong. But we're not saying anything about it. In many instances, we just allowing this negative behavior, and it's out of order. Don't get me wrong. When you're young, you do negative things, right? When I was young, I did a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have done. But not one time, as much as my mother loved me and she supported me, as much as my father loved me and supported me, as much as my aunties loved me and supported me, and the elders in my community loved me and supported me, whenever I did anything wrong.
Man, what happened to the whoopings and the
They
beatings?
checked me. And it don't even have to necessarily be a whooping, because you're in a time where you really can't put your hands on anybody.
Back in the day?
I'm saying now.
Oh, now
you can't. You have to, we're not really at that place where you can put your hands on somebody. You can't really whoop your children in today's world. There's so many consequences behind, that type of discipline. But you can let them know that you're disappointed in them. You can let them know that they're failing themselves and they're failing their families through their negative behavior. Because one thing I always hated, it wasn't the whooping that made me stop doing things. It was the fact that my parents loved me and cared for me so much.
And you feared them as well, too.
Well,
you feared and respect them as well, too.
I feared and respected them, but what I feared and respected was not letting them down.
Right.
Disappointing them. If I disappointed my mother or my father or just my people in my family, I felt horrible. Kids don't have that. Young people don't have that.
Yeah, it's gone.
Now.
Yep, it's gone now.
Even as an adult today, if my behavior, I try to keep it in check, and I think about my parents.
Yeah.
I don't want my mom hearing about me doing something horrible or negative, and she's disappointed. My dad has passed on, but I still, even though he's passed on, I still respect what he stood for, and what he wanted from me. So, I'm just saying, overall, we're failing our community because as men and women who are adults in today's world, we are cowardly, and we are not checking our children. We're afraid of our youth. We're afraid of young people. And with their behavior going unchecked, you see the result of that through these car accidents, through the murders, and through all the violence and things that's happening.
All right, so speaking of that, more bad news. Speaking of another murder, just in, police are now investigating another homicide that just happened near 60th Street in West Fond du Lac. Just this morning, the victim, a 27-year-old Milwaukee man, sustained fatal gunshot injuries, and the circumstances leading up to the shooting are currently under investigation. Police seeking to continue to seek unknown suspects at this time.
So somebody got shot this morning?
Yes.
On 60th of Fond du Lac?
Just in.
And
so
they're dead.
Gone.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But again,
it's just the 10th day of January.
Just the 10th day of January. But also you have to look at how, and this is happening all across the nation. Violence is at an all-time high. But you have to look at all of this stuff that's been going on, all the protests that we were doing. I mean, from the pandemic to the protests, to the movements, to where we're talking about defund the police.
Yes.
All the attacks that have been going on with police and community. Now, whereas before you had a different level of response from the police. Police don't care about serving our community right now.
Whatever happened to that? Remember they were talking about defunding the police?
They did.
They were talking about cutting the police force.
They're cutting the budgets.
Yeah, cutting the budgets. Whatever. Did they? Okay.
Yeah, police budgets have been getting cut all across the nation as a result of the protest and the George Floyd stuff, all of that.
Okay.
But my point is, my larger point is that police and community relationships are so fractured right now that, whereas there was a large distrust for the police in the past, right now it's at an all-time low.
Okay.
And officers are not responding to crimes or looking to prevent crimes in the way they may have been in the past, because they don't want to be, the next Derek Chauvin.
Right. So you said they don't care. They don't care anymore. They don't.
I don't think they care. I think they want to get home.
Wow.
And I think that they don't want to have to go to prison because they didn't have to shoot somebody. Or,
right.
I just think that they're on high alert right now, in which they should be, because we've had police injustices for too long. But you cannot deny that the police have to have a presence. You have to have a presence in your community of police officers that you can trust and that you can depend on when crime happens.
Okay.
Now, we like to have this mindset that we can police ourselves and that we should be able to police our own communities. But we can't even raise our children. We can't even police our children.
Right.
We can't even control our children. So how are we going to run up on crime and issues in the community, and we can't even control our own children.
Yeah.
So therefore you have to have some type of balance when you talk about efficient and effective law enforcement. And what we seeing right now is ineffective law enforcement, and then we see such a lack of respect for law enforcement right now. People have no respect for the law, okay, and then the law has, obviously not a lot of respect for a community. So where are we at? We're at a crossroad to where people are being victimized, but we're sitting here as citizens, as residents in this community who are paying tax dollars for a safe city and for a better quality of life. Law enforcement is a part of that, and you're not seeing it.
It's like we're at a crossroad and a standstill.
Oh, no, not even a standstill. We're going backwards.
Like, where do we go? Like, where do we go from here?
We're moving backwards. The city is totally moving backwards.
Like, well, where do we go from here, though? Like, God.
But I do think, that's why I think media is so important right now, that we're constantly, we have to continue to talk about these things in a way to where it raises awareness and sow seeds in people to where, they just start to look at things and see things differently.
Okay.
But again, like, it's some very fundamental things that are happening that we're not addressing. Okay. One is our children.
Yeah.
Our children. If you look at a lot of the crime that's happening in this city,
it's from our children. The majority is from our children. Our children. For sure. So, definitely.
Who do we hold accountable to that? Who do we hold responsible for that? I think parents have been, don't get me wrong, parents can't be there. They can't control everything that their children do, but we have totally exonerated parents from being responsible for their children's behavior.
And then shouldn't the parents should be responsible or should be held accountable for their children's behavior?
They're not.
But they should be held accountable,
though. In most instances today, the parents are behaving worse than the children.
Yeah, I agree with that, but they also should be held accountable.
Listen to what I'm saying. The parents are behaving worse than the children.
Yep, I agree.
And again, to your point, we have exonerated parents from being responsible for the actions of their children.
Yeah.
And the way that a lot of these children are being raised in these households, they're watching what their mamas are doing, their daddies are doing, their cousins.
So they pretty much raising themselves, if you think about it.
But my point
they on their own.
My point is that you can identify the root of the problem.
Yes.
And we got to quit being afraid to identify the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Because we want to keep on blaming everything on slavery or something.
Yeah.
Or we're going to say what the white man doing to us and all this kind of stuff. No, a lot of this stuff we doing it to ourselves.
And then too, also you got to think about parents. Stop being your child's friend.
Yeah, stop it.
Stop it.
You're doing too much.
I
see some of these women, they trying to be, they 40 years old.
Yeah.
Trying to dress like they 17.
Absolutely. There you go.
They still in the club, turning up with their daughters.
Right.
It's just so much of just our behavior.
It's ridiculous.
Just have to just switch up.
For sure.
Yeah, so.
All right, 29 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. Within about 1 minute, we're waiting on our guests to log on, all right?
Yeah.
That came fast, didn't it?
That did come fast. It's 12:30 already.
All right, so we're going to wait on him to log on, all right? Be right back right after this. Keep it here. the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show, and we are back 34 minutes after the hour of 12 o'clock p.m. Good afternoon to you, Brother Dennis Walton. It is a good day, Motivational Movement Monday. There we are. We have our guest here on the show, Mr. Larry Perdue. How are you on today, sir? Good to see you. How are you today?
How y'all doing? It's good to be with y'all today.
Yes, sir. Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Good.
Can you hear
good
me?
to see you.
Can you cut them up some?
Yeah.
Good to see you guys. How y'all doing?
Sir.
Hey, Brother Tank.
How's it going, Dennis?
I'm good, man. I see you done accumulated a few gray hairs over the years.
Yeah, man. I'm getting wiser.
Yeah.
I'm getting wiser and wiser.
Hey, it's good to see you on this morning, my brother. It's been way too long.
Yeah, it has, bro. It has.
Yeah,
You're doing good work in the community, man. I'm proud of you, bro.
No, thank you, man. You know, we done come a long way.
Yes, sir.
Especially since Powerhouse.
Right. Right. I still got my skills.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said I still got my skills too.
Yeah. Hey, I'm gonna hold you to that now. I might be calling you out for like a special verse or something, man. You know.
Hey, okay, I'll be ready.
No, man. Hey, again, man. Good afternoon, brother. Thank you for reaching out to me, man. You know, I was talking to Sister Soraya, and one of the things that I was telling her is that you know, just our experience in high school when we're being, you know, schoolmates and all of the above, man, you know, there's still a very strong connection to, you know, those of us who are alumni, you know, and had the opportunity to experience what high school was when we were young. And I can just remember, you know, when I first came to Marshall, being young, being a freshman, you know, you guys were the upperclassmen.
Right.
You know, what year was it that you graduated? I think you were 2 years ahead of me.
I was 89.
Yeah, 89. So actually, I got there in 89.
Yep, you were a freshman.
Yeah, I was a freshman. So yeah, when freshman kill day came around, y'all didn't stuff me in the locker, but y'all gave it to me though. I ain't forgot that. No,
you know, we let up on the cool freshmen. We took it easy on the cool freshmen. We was like, nah, we ain't gonna do our guy like that.
But I saw a few of them get stuffed in lockers, so I was like, hey, I wasn't one of them.
Right.
But also, man, you know, it was just such a rich history with all the things that we were doing as young men. You know, all the talent, all the aspiration. You know, just so many things that we just all were inspired, you know, through each other, just seeing the strength and the talent of one another in high school as young men. We were always motivated by one another. And brothers like yourself who were, you know, athletes as young people coming in, and you guys were, you know, just in the weight room every day and just committed to what football was and what sports and athletics was. You guys were committed to excellence. It always set the tone for the younger generations to want to be more. And, you know, when I think about you and just, you know, the whole Powerhouse clique, you know, from Jimmy, you know, RIP to our brother Jimmy.
RIP Jimmy.
Yeah, you know, to Ehorn. You know, I could just go RIP to Ehorn. You know what I'm saying? I could just run down the line on the brothers that were so connected to us at the time. And some of those brothers are not here right now. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like I said, it's just a pleasure to have you on, man. And I'll stop talking a little bit and just let you talk a little bit about yourself, brother.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Like you said, we went to school with each other. We were schoolmates. We went to Marshall High School. Since high school, I graduated and pretty much had a career working with at-risk youth. During that career working with at-risk youth, I also started coaching football, which is, you know, as you know, one of my main loves.
Right.
And over the years of coaching these young men, you know, it weighed on my heart to see that most of them went through some of the same struggles that I went through. Probably not as much, but they still went through struggles that affected their lives, things that beyond their control, you know what I'm saying, that affected them in a negative way. And through football, I was seeing every year when these kids would turn seniors, you know, I'm with them since they were freshmen. And then they turn seniors, and after that last game, they're looking around like, this is it. You know, I didn't achieve my goals. And a lot of that has to do with themselves, decisions that they make, sometimes not working hard enough in class like they need to. But a lot of times it's things that go on in the community and at home that is a hurdle for them to make it to that next level. Mm-hmm. See, what I try to teach, man, is that don't use football. Don't think that every player is going to go pro. Don't try to go pro. Use football to get an education. Mm-hmm. Use sports. If you play sports and you're interested in sports, use it as a gateway to get an education. Right. Because that's the most important thing. And yeah, man, I just, you know, over the years, especially these last 2 years, the situation with COVID and how it's affected high school sports, how it's affected student athletes, I just decided, you know, maybe it's time for me to share my story. Yeah. You know, and also sharing my story was therapeutic for me. Yeah. Because I always felt like, you know, your high school football career, those years, you went through a lot of things during those years, and you never really gave yourself closure or confronted a lot of those things. A lot of those things, I was like, hey, I'm just going to forget about it, out of sight, out of mind. And going back and writing the book, it opened up some old wounds, and it had me looking at things differently too. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the book was therapeutic, but I also think that it can be very inspirational for student athletes.
Well, it's interesting because one of the conversations that we were just having is about how our community is failing, you know, in a lot of ways. And yes. And again, in the last segment, we were just talking about a lot of the violence that you see going on in the community right now, a lot of the recklessness and lawlessness that's going on in the community right now, where you have some community factors that you have to attribute to those circumstances. You still have to have a level of personal responsibility as well. And, you know, when you talk about our personal journey as young people, you know, and having the opportunity to have high school as a support system, because one thing that we were in school is we were all a support system. We admired each other. We respected each other. We had some differences and some challenges with each other, but it was really a place. High school was a place where we could discover ourselves, you know, right. And we had a genuine opportunity to do that, because even in the midst of the community struggles that we were facing, the poverty and different things, we still had people who cared about us. Right. We had people who held us accountable, you know, and we had people who we did not want to let down. So even though we may have veered off track and did some negative things, there still was a sense of, man, I don't want to let my mom down. I don't want to let my dad down. Or I don't want to let my coach down, or I don't want to let my teacher down. Sometimes it was that one teacher who saw something in you, you know, that helped you get on track, or it was that coach that you had that helped you get on track, right. You know. But now we're at a place where the educational structure within our community is failing our children. Our children don't have the same relationships with their coaches or with their teachers, you know, as we did in the past. And as parents, and I think as adults and as parents, we're failing a lot of our young people because we're afraid to address their negative behavior. You know, we're not confronting the negativity within them. We're turning our head. We're just allowing them to go down a destructive road. And we're being mute and silenced while we're watching the destruction. And when we were young, that was something that would not happen. If it could be somebody else's parent or another adult or someone from way across town. If you was doing something wrong, they were going to hold you accountable to that, and they were going to check you about that.
You're right. Yeah, sometimes your mentors can come from strange places.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, I talk about it in the book. I didn't really have a good relationship with my father.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was raised by my mother mostly, and but over the years, some of my mentors were guys that wouldn't conventionally be mentors.
Right.
Like I would have some older dope dealers that would say, "Hey man,
right.
I be seeing you come home with your football equipment. Stop hanging with those dudes over there."
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, they would give you that insight. I'm trying to get in the picture here. They would give you, even though they weren't, on the up and up, they still had enough decency to give you some guidance.
Right.
And to keep you away from, if they saw that you were different.
Right.
If they saw that you were a kid that was, hey, we like to save this kid.
Right. Right.
So let me just try to keep him away from what I see what's going on now. I would have some guys like, hey man, and it could be their relatives. Hey man, I want you hanging with my cousin, man.
Right.
You doing something for yourself. You going to school.
Mm-hmm.
He's wild out here.
Right.
But I see you trying to do something for yourself, man. Stay away from my cousin.
Right.
And of course, you follow. You trying to follow that advice if you're smart.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately for me, that's kind of what some of my mentors have come from strange situations, but I heeded the words that they told me.
Yeah.
I heeded the advice that they gave me, and it kept me out of prison and out of trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
So aside, I'm sorry, can I interject? So aside from that, did you ever fall under any type of pressure in terms of falling into like stress or like without having a father in the home, like from peer pressure, wanting to fall into a life of drugs or alcohol or something like that, without having a father in the home? Or did you always have that focus of going, leading or having that right frame of mind on wanting to, you know, uh, play football or, live the right life or of some sort?
I always had that focus, but there were times where I just fell into trouble and I didn't go looking for it.
Okay.
I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Okay.
And there are situations that just fall in your lap and you just got to roll with it,
Mm-hmm.
and those were some of my situations. I could, I go into depth, I go into detail about it in the book, but yeah, there are situations where, I've had to do some things, and while I'm doing it, I'm praying to myself like, God, please don't let this be, the time that I get caught doing this.
Right.
Uh, yeah, there's been times in my life where I say you don't have the control, and at that moment, you may be at somebody else's mercy,
Mm.
and there's been a lot of times where I was able to walk away. I was able to recognize, okay, this is about to turn into a bad situation here.
Okay.
I got a chance to walk away. I'm leaving now. So and like Dennis was saying earlier, he was saying he didn't want to disappoint his parents, and that's the same thing with me with my mother.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to disappoint my mother. I had an older brother and an older sister that got into trouble a lot, and I would see the stress that she endured through that. And a lot of times she would tell me, "Hey, I'm tired. I'm tired, and I don't know
Right.
if you get into this kind of trouble. I don't know if I'm gonna have this kind of energy for you."
Right.
That would worry me.
Yeah.
Times when they would get in trouble and be like, "I didn't go. You see, that's the police calling and tell me to come pick your brother up. I'm not going to get him. You go to jail. I'm not going to get you." So those things, in the back of my mind, those things stayed in the back of my mind. I'm like, let me try my best to stay on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
just that,
football.
and again, just that
Football.
fear. I'm sorry, man. I'm
Yeah.
saying, and again, just that fear alone, because I went through that so many times. Like, always in trouble, always in mischief. You know how things were, like, just like young people today. But the one thing that I always hated was to make my mother cry. Oh man, you just feel like the worst person in the world if your
And
mama started crying.
man, that is a terrible feeling. Terrible feeling, man.
or
I was dealing with a couple.
you incarcerated, and then your mother got to come to the jail, and you got to look at your mama behind that glass, and she just got that look in her face of just total disappointment. Like
Right.
those things. I didn't fear the police. I feared those things. Just that look in my mother's eyes or my father. Disappointing him, because I was fortunate that I had a father who loved me. So I had a little bit more stability that I didn't even realize at the time, because I just thought it was normal to have a mother and a father that loved you. And
Right.
it wasn't until later that I started to realize that a lot of my friends didn't have two-parent households, and again, in most situations, it was our moms who was, always there all the time, supporting you through the good, the bad, and the ugly. But just that let down, letting your mother down or letting your parents down, it was like being shot in the chest with a shotgun or something. Like, you did not want to ever have that feeling. And especially, like I
Right.
said, if you do something and then your mom just break out crying, or she just tell you, I can't take it no more, or you killing me. How many times your mother said, you killing me with this behavior.
Right.
And
Yep.
and then I always just, no matter what, you didn't even have to get a whooping or anything. I was telling Soraya, like, you didn't even have to get a whooping or anything. It was just that the fact that you disappointed your mother or your parents so bad, and that horrible feeling that you had to have when you go sit in your room, knowing that your mama downstairs crying or mad about something that you did and you was dead wrong for. We don't have
Right.
that sense of respect. I don't see a lot of our young people having that sense of respect, to where they understand that their behaviors are connected to something bigger than themselves. And that when they disappoint or they do things, it's letting down. They're not only hurting themselves, they're hurting their family, they're hurting people around them. Where again, we had those coaches, those teachers, like you said, those unconventional mentors who we really cared about what they thought. And as you're applying it to football, let's just talk a little bit about, just that struggle and how it all intertwines, for you to become the person that you are today.
And then also
Right.
about this book, I'm kind of skimming over this book as well too. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the title is fullback. Um, Fullback is a position in football that is actually kind of extinct now. As the game evolved, it kind of took that position, which is a running back, and it's pretty much phasing it out of the sport. And that's the position that I played. And I kind of liken the title of the book to my career, my high school football career. Whereas it's becoming a dinosaur now. And so basically, in the book, it's trying to describe how I got a desire to play football. I was crazy over basketball when I was an elementary kid. Made the All-Star team 6th grade, played the game. On the way home, my sister's boyfriend said, hey, you know what? You're not a basketball player. You're too short, you're too big, you're athletic, but that's not your sport. You should try football. So that's what introduced me to football. And even with that, initially I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna do what I want to do. So moved to California. We moved to California after my 6th grade year. And it was a culture shock. Everything was a complete culture shock. The gang culture, the streets. everything was crazy. You know, it was just fast-paced and crazy. As soon as I get there, and it's in the book, you know, my mother met a guy in Milwaukee that was from California. He wanted to move back to California. He got there. He was supposed to get established and then sent for us. We get there and find out we're homeless, right? So I spent most of that summer homeless. But I get there and I see how crazy football is there. It's very popular in California. Very popular, football and track. So I'm meeting people and, you know, I'm getting talked into playing. So that's pretty much what got my love into it, man. I started playing it, and the discipline, like you said, the interactions with the coaches, the interaction with your other teammates, I fell in love with it. And it gave me structure. You know, it gave me structure. It gave me something to do every day. So yeah, that was my introduction to football, and that became my love affair with it. So basically what happens though is that we had some family situations my sophomore year. Going into my sophomore year, we had some family situations in California. My mother and my mother's boyfriend weren't getting along, and pretty much that relationship ended, and we had to move back to Chicago. So I moved back to Chicago. Same thing there. I pretty much walked into the same situation. Very rough, very hairy. You know, this week I'm living with this auntie. Next week we living with a family friend. Just crazy, but I'm still trying to play football. So my cousin tells me, hey, you need to go find a school to register at. Check out some of these local schools and see where you're interested in going to. So I found the school, started practicing, and then all of a sudden, personal things started happening again. You know, and then I started having personal issues with the football coach. So I'm not gonna tell I'm not gonna go into so much detail, but my football journey has been a long one. So ran into some problems in Chicago, and I had to move back to Milwaukee. Junior year, moved back to Milwaukee my junior year. I'm going to Washington, but I'm still having some personal problems at home and some serious issues, man. You know, trying to live with my father now. And while this is going on, because of the personal issues, I'm having issues with football and the coach again. So I go to summer school at Marshall, going into my senior year. I meet the head football coach at Marshall. I transfer to Marshall. And that's where I pretty much finished my football college career, my football high school career at. But I don't want to give out all the details in the book, but it was a long, rough road from my freshman year to my senior year in high school.
Yeah.
I actually went to 6 high schools.
Wow.
I went to one alternative for a situation that I had no control over. Mm-hmm. And because of my love for football, I got out of there in 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. Busted my butt. Yeah. Kept communicating with my coach at the time who wanted me out of there.
You definitely persevered. You persevered. I tell you that.
Persevered. It was a lot, you know, it's a lot of detail is in the book. A lot of people are like, well, I did not know you went through all that.
Yeah, I didn't, like, a lot of stuff that you're saying, I had no idea, you know, until just looking at the book and just listening to your story now. Mm-hmm. Because again, when I came in Marshall in 88, 89, you know, that was, for me, that was, you know, my introduction to you, you know, and I just figured you had been in Marshall the whole time. I didn't know you had just, you know, got there your senior year? Well, so did you get there your junior year or senior year?
My junior year.
Yeah.
My junior year, I had moved back to Milwaukee, and I had to go to summer school at Marshall because they couldn't differentiate units from credits.
Right.
California went units, And for some reason, like I said, I went to so many schools and moved around so much that my information got lost
Right.
in the sauce, and they didn't know how to switch over units to credits.
Right.
So they just assumed that, okay, well, you must be a credit short. You got to go to summer school in order to be considered a senior. So the only summer school at that time was Marshall. I was going to Washington.
Right.
I had moved back from Chicago to Milwaukee, going to Washington, but I had to go to summer school at Marshall. Washington, it's in the book. But Washington, I
gotta get the book. Yeah.
I went to practice a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I had to let it go. I mean, me and Lehman, man, we bumped heads seriously. So I'm going to Marshall now, and I'm telling myself, I don't even want to play football no more. I just want to graduate from high school and get this over with. Because while I played football my senior year, I lived in 5 different neighborhoods just during the season alone.
Right.
Just during the season alone, I lived in 5 different neighborhoods in Milwaukee.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I did a lot, man. We had a lot of hardship, man. It was just, a lot of times it was just me and my mother.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of hardships. I mentioned in the book when I moved to California, the boyfriend that we were supposed to be living with, this guy had 4 sisters. He had 5 sisters. 4 of the sisters all lived on the same block. They all had their houses on the same block, right? By the end of the summer, we ended up living with each one of them.
Oh, wow, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We ended up living with each one of them on the same block.
Yeah. Hey, you know what, Tank? You know, it's interesting because I just look at, again, how, just how tight we were as classmates, whether it was, freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. I remember, I came to join Powerhouse. You guys had, it was probably the only high school fraternity that I ever known of. I've ever known of, which was Powerhouse to me. It was like, everybody who came into Marshall at that time, they wanted to be a part of Powerhouse because Powerhouse had it going on from what was your boy Toby and what's your other guy name?
Toby, who's doing very well right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chat, Reggie.
Yeah.
D, Derek. A lot of us.
Yeah, but Powerhouse, like I said, just listening to your story and listening to your all of the adversity, but then having the experience of being in high school with you and then understanding what we all meant to each other as a group, as a fraternity, as a brotherhood, man, it really shows the power of what high school was for us at that time and what sports was for us at that time.
I'm sorry.
High school itself was my support system. I'm sorry.
This book has my jaw dropping. I'm in the section of Milwaukee. I'm home.
Yeah.
And I'm reading. Never mind. I'll just continue reading. Never mind. This is an interesting book. I'm just reading the section about your father. That's all. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting section.
Very.
And I must say this. To this day, I have a good relationship with my father.
Wonderful.
I speak to him a lot.
Wonderful.
But yeah, the younger years were tough. The younger years,
So your mom and dad are still alive?
No, my mother's gone. Rest in peace, Mom.
Okay.
My father's he's still kicking it.
Right.
But he's a great guy, though. I love him. He's good, man. But
so you still see and talk to your father now?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yep, I do.
Well, again,
but rest in peace to my mother, man.
Okay. Yeah, definitely, man. And again, I think you make some really strong points in this book. First of all, man, I was just really, happy to see that you had written a book, because one of the things that we wanted to do with this platform that we decided is that we're gonna make sure that we reach out to more authors, because I think a lot of people are hidden authors who have gems that they have written and they're not getting exposure. So I was really,
Right.
I was really excited for you to contact me and say, hey, brother, this is what I'm doing right now. I have this book. But then when I started to read the book, you did such a great job, just in laying it out and allowing it to flow.
Yes.
In a manner in which it makes sense and how it relates to, your personal struggle, but then your triumph as well. And then everything, the ingredients that help you to get to the place where you're at. And if you just talk just a little bit about just that football, mindset that you had to develop, because I know at one part in the book you said that you hated football, you hate football, but you love it.
Right.
And in a lot of ways, we have to go through life. We hate some things, but we love it. But when we overcome those things we hate, we have a greater appreciation for it. Talk a little bit about that from your experience.
Well, throughout the career, I think my biggest issue was dealing with certain coaches. And being a coach now, I've been coaching for 15 years now. And being the coach, I realized you have to know how to deal with kids. You have to know how to talk to them, and you have to be respectful about it, and you have to be honest and truthful, And a lot of coaches that I dealt with would lie to me. They'll tell you one thing, and then come game time or another situation, they'll do another. A lot of times, it was all about playing time. It was all about winning my position battle, being a fullback. And if I go to a school practicing, and the coaches are like, "Yeah, you're going to be our fullback. You're going to start for me." This, that, and the other. And then you come to find out, well, I just had this kid transfer from a Catholic school. It's a 1A school. They just won a state championship. I think I'm going to let him be my starting fullback. Or, yeah, you're better than this kid, but this kid has been playing for me since he was a freshman, and I don't want to take his position from him. You're clearly outperforming kids at your position. Even your teammates and other coaches are telling you, hey, I don't know why he will not start you. I don't know why this is going on. I don't know why, we talk about this all the time. And I find myself going through that a few times. Now, in California, that situation was great for me, but the home situation was terrible. So we had to move back to Milwaukee. That kind of crushed me. We had to move to Chicago first. The Chicago situation was very, very rough because, the school situation was rough. There was a lot of gang banging and issues that I had to try to avoid while going to school every day. And it was just a terrible situation in Chicago, man. The school situation. It was more so just being able to survive, living every day, as to playing football, but I'm still making it to practice. I'm still playing.
Yeah.
So then, just to each stop. So then, once again, unfortunate situation, got to move back to Milwaukee. Same thing with Lehman. You promising me things, and then you're not following through on it. So and all of that along, like I said, I got to that point where I was like, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm tired.
Yeah.
And then in chapter 8, Tank meets Jerry. Jerry Baskin. Rest in peace, Jerry. I met Jerry Baskin. I met Jerry Baskin in the summer going into my senior year. And I met him on the street. I talk about how I talk about that in the book, how we met, and that was crazy. But he talked me into coming to Marshall, even though I knew he was the starting fullback there, and I didn't know if I would have an opportunity to play. But Jerry was my guy, man. He talked me into it. I started going to summer school there. I met some of the players. I met Go, and I realized, this is the place I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
The place I want to be. So
Well,
man, from the football standpoint, I'm knowing it's not one of them situations where you're just not good enough.
Yeah.
No, I'm proving myself every day in practice. I'm killing in practice. I'm talking about how good I'm doing at the football camps and everywhere else against other competition. But for some reason, I'm just not getting my opportunities that I feel that I'm earning. So that was a problem too. Like, you love the sport, but you're not getting the opportunities that you've earned and that you should be getting.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man, because it's a lot of great gems in this book,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I can really appreciate someone like you that has taken the time to take your life experience, and put it into something that people can learn from, something that you can pass down to other people, something that can be used as a tool to share with other young people, just what challenges look like and how you overcome them. And as you know, and I'm gonna say this before we come to an end, man. As you know, we're lucky to be alive. We survived some
Yes.
really, really tough
Yes.
circumstances as young
Yes.
people. And, even now we're still fighting to stay alive. We just lucky that we have some wisdom and some mercy and some grace that's keeping us here now. But when we were young, I remember, and like I said, we're gonna be closing soon in the interview, but I want to bring you back. But
Yeah.
I remember when we were young, as young men, we were told that we would not make it to be 18 years old. You remember that? They constantly told us
Yep.
that as a young black man, you will not survive to be 18
Yep.
years old. And it was to the point where so many of our friends were dying at 14, 15, 16 years old that we just lived every day like like it was the last day.
Right.
And while we were living like that, when we turned 18, we were so happy to be alive, like, oh, I actually made it. And when I thought about that as an adult, I'm like, man, what kind of pressure is that on a young person that when they turn 18, they just happy that they're alive?
Right.
You
Because
know,
when you're
and
told that, when you're constantly told that, you lose confidence in yourself.
yeah,
You lose confidence in acquiring or achieving things.
right,
I'm gonna die. They say I'm gonna die by 18 anyway. Why go to college?
right, right.
You start having those doubts, those negative doubts in your mind. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
and we thought like that. So like I said, you put a lot of your heart and soul into this book, man. I'm definitely proud of what you have done and what you've accomplished
Thank
with
you.
this, brother. Just let people know, let individuals know where they can purchase the book, how they can get in touch with you, and possibly how they can use this as a manuscript to work with young people who are at risk, who they're coaching in their schools, because I think this is a great book for that.
I appreciate it. The book is called Fullback. It's available on Amazon Kindle. It's available in paperback and an ebook. That's the cover there.
Yeah.
It's available
And
on Amazon Kindle, you said?
yep, Amazon Kindle.
Okay.
It's available in paperback and ebook. I'm sorry. What was the other question, Dennis?
No, I said just making sure that people know where to get the book and how to contact you. Maybe people
Oh,
want to invite you to do some public speaking or to work with their
great.
youth, things like that.
Great. Yeah, I've been working with at-risk youth for a long time, so I'm very comfortable speaking to kids and doing pretty much doing conferences and things like that. I can be contacted. My email is bigtankster35@gmail.com. That's BIGTANKSTA35@gmail.com. You can contact me there. I have no problem giving out my personal phone number either. It's 414-737-2848.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm available to speak with kids and do other functions as well. And I appreciate you bringing me on your platform to share my book launch with you. And I appreciate you guys. And yeah, man, it was a writing journey.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely a
But you
writing
made
journey.
it.
But
Yeah, you made
I
it.
enjoy writing. That's one thing I do. You know,
Mhm.
like you said, you mentioned the powerhouse, and that was one of the things that also encouraged me to write the book. Was my time
Mhm.
being affiliated with the music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to get a music career off the ground after
Yeah.
high school and
Yeah.
football.
Yeah. So let's
So yeah,
do this, man. Like I said, again, man, I just want to say thank you for reaching out to me, man. You know, just thank you for being one of my
man,
brothers who I was inspired by, as a young person. You know, you've always been a positive brother, man. And I'm really thankful that you had the opportunity to write this book, because that's an inspiration within itself, And then I think
uh,
you hit on something very significant. You said how therapeutic it was,
yeah,
and I think that when people read through this book, they'll be able to see themselves in a lot of ways, but they'll understand what you mean when you say therapeutic, and it'll probably maybe inspire others to want to write as well, So, like I said, our time is short now, man, but we're definitely going to look forward to bringing you back on, and we're going to continue to promote your book, man,
That's
and then
right.
we'll stay in touch with
man,
each other. Anything that you want to do, if you know others who are looking for opportunity and need to come on the platform, just let them know. But hey, man, I just want to say, man, Happy New Year to you. I love you, man. And I
yeah.
want
Love you
to,
guys too. I appreciate y'all,
yeah, hopefully, you'll get grayer.
man. Hey, I appreciate you.
Best-selling author. Best-selling author.
Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Thanks
You're
for having me. Hey, I just gotta add this real quick. I've been coaching at Marquette for the last 3 years. This year, I went back home, went back to Marshall, coached the running
Really?
backs at Marshall, and we won the conference. We won the city conference this year.
Really?
So I'm pretty proud. I'm very proud of that.
Congratulations.
Shout out
Oh,
to the Marshall
man.
football team. Shout out to
Wonderful.
Coach Matthews and the staff.
So you coaching at Marshall now?
Yeah, I'm a running backs coach at Marshall.
Really?
Wow.
Oh, man. Good. Hey,
Amazing.
like I said, man, after we get offline here, I'll be reaching back out to you, man, and we'll get together and just tighten all the way up, man, because I would love to
Great,
come back up there and do some work myself, man. But
man.
congratulations, bro. Congratulations on everything that you're doing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and
You're
like I said, I'll be reaching back out to you, man, and we'll bring you back on, soon. But I'll be in touch when we get offline for sure. Thank you, man. Thank you for everything
Okay.
you're doing,
Thank
and
y'all.
thank you for
Man,
taking the
have,
time out
have
for
a
the
blessed
interview
week,
today.
y'all.
all right.
Man,
You too.
appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless. All right. There you have it. Great job, Ms. Wharton.
Hey,
That
again,
was amazing.
all I could just say is, that,
Yeah.
man, what can you say? It's like, just to be
Wow.
thankful. I just think about, like I said, how much me and them brothers went through.
Fullback.
Yeah.
This is the book right here. Y'all see this book?
And the thing about it is that it's an honest book.
This is
It's
hey.
sincere.
I was reading this book. I'm sorry, y'all didn't. I mean, my mouth was dropping like the book is. He was so transparent in his book.
It's a good book.
He
It's
said in this book, look, Dennis, he said his father was married while dating his mother.
Right.
While she was pregnant with him.
Yeah, I think a lot of us got that story.
I mean, it's not funny,
but I'm just saying, a lot of people can relate to it. That's all.
No. Thanks be to God, I can't.
Well, again, but
thanks be to God, you can't.
Everybody got to. I'm saying, but there are others who can relate.
No. We're not speaking for everybody else.
Okay. Again, my point is that
I'm
his
saying
transparency in the book,
y'all gotta
people can relate to the differences.
Resilience and determination.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot to ask him, like, he like persevered through it all. Like he went through so much
Yeah.
to get through. And you know, my Uncle Bishop said something on New Year's Eve, like, you can't forget about the journey. We forget about the journey. You know, we focus so much on the destination that we forget about the journey. We got to appreciate the journey. We get so excited about, oh, we made it to the destination, but we cannot forget about what we went through to get to what made us get to the destination. And he went through so much. He went from Milwaukee to Chicago to California, back to Chicago, living with 4 different people on the same block, to this, to that. That's just, oh my God.
Yeah, and I never knew all of that.
You never knew all of that. Like, and you just going back to, you never know. You can't judge a book by its cover.
No, you cannot.
You cannot.
So,
oh my God.
So just to that point again,
amazing.
Like I said,
amazing.
them brothers were my inspiration and my motivation when I got to high school.
Yeah.
You know, they had the team spirit. They were into the athletics.
Yeah.
You know, but again, so many of the young people at that time were going through just the craziest stuff. And see, and like I said, I have to be honest. Even though I live in, I live on 24th and Burleigh. I've lived in the 53206 neighborhood my entire life.
Yeah.
And I watched and witnessed the struggle of a lot of my friends.
Okay.
I watched them go from just dealing with just really serious circumstances.
Yeah.
And they were all around me, my neighbors, across the street, down the street. Everybody was dealing with something.
Yeah.
You know, I was fortunate. You know, I had a mother and a father.
And the father, yeah.
Who loved me.
That's right.
You know, I didn't know what it was like to not have a father until my father transitioned. You know, but in the time when my dad was here, it was like, that was the normal thing to have a father
in the home.
Or even when my mom and dad got separated.
Right.
It just meant I had 2 houses.
That's right. So did I. Yeah.
I spent so much time with my dad. Every moment that I could, I spent with my dad.
Wow.
And my dad was like my hero. So,
that's right.
You know, but my dad was no nonsense.
Right.
I'm talking about if I did anything, my dad whooped me one time.
Wait a minute. That's amazing. That's amazing.
What's amazing?
Your dad whooped you one time?
My dad whooped me one time.
Amazing.
And he never had to put his hands on me.
What did you do, Dennis?
Man, I had.
What did you do?
I'm gonna actually tell you the story in honor of my dad.
What did you do, Dennis?
So I used to be like addicted to candy, right?
Okay.
I was like, anybody who knows me knows that when I was young, I was addicted to candy.
Okay. What you do?
And then we had the drugstore on the corner that had all the penny candy. When I say all the penny candy, Dr. Carter had all the penny candy.
Right.
There, right.
Not Mr. Rogers, but Dr. Carter.
No, yeah, not Mr. Rogers.
Okay.
Dr. Carter.
Right. Okay.
Had all the penny candy.
What you do? You stole when you stole?
So I'm trying to tell you,
okay.
Listen.
Okay. I'm anxious.
So I'm like 5 or 6 years old, and I'm like, we're coming from my mother. It's my mother, my father, and my 2 sisters. The whole family. We in the car. So I keep on saying, I want some candy. I want some candy. I want some candy. So I was getting on everybody's nerve. I'm like, I want some candy. So I had made it up in my mind that as soon as I get out of this car, I'm going to the store. I don't care what nobody say. Okay. I'm going to the store. So we pull up in front of the house, and I just jump out the car and just start running full speed. I'm like 5 years old.
You put in front of the house?
We put in front of our home.
Okay.
Which is on Chambers.
Right.
You got the drugstore on Burleigh. So I'm like 5 or 6 years old. I just jump out of the car and start running full speed to the drugstore. Right. While I'm running full speed to the drugstore, my family is in the back screaming and hollering like, "No, come back. Come back." And I'm looking back and they chasing me. And I'm like, I'm running full speed. And then I'm ready to run through the busy street, right? Because you got the Burleigh, you got the traffic light.
You about to get your tail.
Oh, I'm running out there taking up. My mama screaming, my daddy screaming, my big sister chasing me.
You
So I get
crazy.
right to jump in the street to run across the street, and my sister grabbed me and caught me.
Oh, God.
So she walked me all the way back down the street.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, when I got in the house,
Whoa.
oh, I got beat so bad. My daddy, I'm talking about, he held me up by one leg
OMG.
and just beat me half to death.
Oh,
Right?
my God. Deja
I'm
vu.
talking about a whooping. When I say a whooping,
Deja vu.
I'm talking about he whooped me like, beat me like a slave,
Oh.
like an old slave. Like,
Toby.
he beat me like a slave. I was screaming and hollering. I was hanging up. It's the worst thing to get held by one leg and get beat with a belt.
Oh, Toby.
And he didn't stop. He just went and whacked away at me.
Yeah.
And then he got tired.
Uh-huh.
And then he put me down. And I had to go to my room. I had to sit there like.
Your soul.
Oh, because I wanted some Tootsie Rolls. You know, Dr. Carter had all the flavors Tootsie Rolls.
A day you'll never forget.
And I never had, after that, my daddy never.
I bet.
My daddy never ever whooped me again after that. You know, so rest in heaven to my dad. That whooping did a lot. But again, we just talked about that. You can't even whoop your kids no more. Man, I was getting beat with everything in the house.
You bet not.
So that was my one whooping experience with my dad. But like I said, just going back to what we were originally talking about. You know, having brothers like Tank who are still around, like I said, we didn't even expect to be alive. We didn't even think that we were going to live to be 18 years old. And a lot of our friends have passed away.
Wow.
You know, so to see that brother doing well and still, you know, working to be a blessing to the young people, going back to his alma mater, going back to Marshall.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
That's powerful.
That's very powerful.
You know, so I would encourage everybody, buy the book. Again, Fullback.
Yeah, and it's available on Amazon, Kindle. Yes.
Yeah, that's Larry Purdue.
Larry Tank.
Yeah,
Purdue.
Larry Tank Purdue.
Yes.
You will not be disappointed.
Yes, for sure. All right. And this is the book as well. You'll see it. It is a black and white cover. This is this was him when he was younger, obviously. So.
Yeah, don't judge the book by its cover.
Don't judge the book by its cover.
Yeah, and then Tank also they were MCs and rappers.
Yeah.
You know, they did a lot of things entertainment wise. They had an entertainment organization, you know, where we were all wanted to be a part of Powerhouse. Dancing, singing, rapping, we were doing everything. But they just a good brother. It's good to see him prosper. Like I said, Fullback, if you can, support that brother, Larry Tank Purdue. Purchase his book.
Yes.
You will not be disappointed.
Absolutely. All right. 27 minutes after the hour of 1:00 p.m. Coming up next, we are going to have our 1:30 p.m. interview. 27 minutes after the hour of 1:00 p.m. We're gonna have Tyree Davis. You want to bring him on now?
We'll take a short break and then come back on.
Okay.
But I just want you to get ready for you know the first interview was a very powerful interview with one of my good brothers who I went to high school with.
Yes.
But this next interview is gonna blow your socks off.
Yes, it is.
You know, when you look at the experience that this young man has had. Yeah. When you talk about an individual who has had to triumph. Yes. Over trauma and tragedy.
Oh my God.
Being victimized in our community in the worst way, but still being here to fight for himself, for his family, and to tell his story.
Yes.
Coming up next, we're gonna have Brother Tyree Davis, and you're gonna learn about the Davis story.
Be right back right after this. Keep it here. All right, welcome back to another to the Solar City Gospel Radio Show. We are back 31 minutes after the hour of 1 o'clock p.m. and we are rocking and rolling on this blessed Monday afternoon. If you are just tuning in, don't forget y'all to download the radio app on your mobile device. It's free. Again, it is free, absolutely free. All you got to do is go to that your mobile device and type in HD Radio Online. All right, go to your Play Store on your mobile app. HD Radio Online is absolutely free, right, Dennis?
Absolutely free.
Free all day long.
HD Radio Online. One word.
One word. All right.
One word. Quit
One word.
repeating everything I say, man.
Man, you're such a hater.
Jesus,
Such a
man.
hater. Such a hater.
So look,
what's up?
Let's get into this amazing story.
Yes.
From an amazing young man who I've had the opportunity to meet and become friends with and become business partners with. You know, it's just amazing how, you know, God brings certain people together at the right time to accomplish great things. And a lot of times when you're going through something bad, it's something good on the end of it.
Yeah.
And my opportunity to meet this brother, Tyree Davis, who we're going to be bringing up next, has just been nothing short of a blessing, you know, just to learn who he is.
That's right.
What he does, the businessman that he is, learn about his family, learning him as a father.
Right.
And then, you know, beyond his troubles and problems, us moving into becoming friends, brothers, and business partners in different ventures that we're working on. And I'm just going to get right into this story. Tyree Davis was an innocent bystander who was shot by the police. Yeah. And this was like 2 years ago.
Right.
And when you see, you know, this level of abuse, when we talk about how innocent people are sometimes in bad situations and become victims of the circumstance, victims of police brutality, or a victim of inefficiency within the city administration and police administration to right their wrongs. He is the face of that when we talk about the Tyree Davis case or the Davis case and who he is and what he's experienced. And just to talk a little bit about it, we're going to show you a clip of the experience that he went through.
And maybe we remind you that this is
it's graphic.
It's very graphic.
This is very graphic,
yes,
but it's very, very real.
Yes, it is.
This is not something that this is real. It's not a fake situation.
No, it's not.
No actors. This is his real life experience.
Yeah.
But on September 8th,
yes,
right, 2019, Tyree Davis was shot.
Yes.
In his own home by a police officer that brazenly shot another man during a foot chase. Tyree was rushed to the hospital for surgery. The police officer was later discharged for breaking protocol, yet Tyree and his family have spent the last 2 years suffering through unknowns and experiencing unimaginable pain.
Yeah.
And if you can just imagine you're bleeding out, and the police step over your body, search your home, separate your family, and detain your children after attempting to shoot another man and shooting you.
My God.
What that if you can just try to imagine what that looks like or how that feels, being shot unexpectedly in your home by a police officer.
Yeah.
Then the police invading your home, arresting and detaining your children, and then you wake up handcuffed to a bed after being shot
in the stomach.
And it's, again, we're going to just show you
all right,
some of the body cam footage, and then we're going to come back and we're going to bring Brother Tyree Davis on to talk about his experience.
You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
There we go. All right. All right. All right. There we go. You want to bring him on?
Yeah, let's
All
bring
right, there
on
we
brother
go.
Tyree Davis.
All right. How are you, sir?
Doing okay. I'm doing okay. How y'all doing?
Good to see you today.
Good afternoon, my brother.
It's good to be seen. How you doing, brother?
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely
sir.
good to
Yes,
be
sir.
seen, man. I'm well. Hey, Tyree, we're going to get right into this story, man. You and me are brothers, we friends, we business partners. I'm fortunate I had the opportunity to meet you, 2 years ago and learn about your story. Since I've had the opportunity to meet you and learn about your story, we've been through a lot over the last couple of years with, just trying to get some resolve for the things that you're going through, having the opportunity to meet your family, your daughters, your wife, and then just you as a father who's just committed to making sure that your family overcomes this whole horrific situation, man. I'm thankful that here we are in 2022. We met under the circumstance of your situation not being handled properly. But now here we are 2 years later, God works in the ways that he's supposed to, and you're still here to talk about it right now. You're still overcoming that situation and you've started to make some progress. But let's just talk about Tyree Davis and the case for Davis, what that means, who you are, what's going on. We just played, a clip. Could you see the clip that we just played?
Yeah, I could see it. I just couldn't hear it. I seen it though. Yes.
Okay, yeah. And I'm all, again, for people who don't know, that was the actual experience of you being shot in your home, right?
Yes,
So let's get into it. Let's talk about Tyree Davis, the case for Davis. Let you give your response to who you are and what's going on today with your situation.
Yeah, as I said, my name is Tyree Davis, and I'm just an individual who has experienced something that a lot of individuals have experienced in our communities. I have sadly had the experience of being shot by the police. I was an innocent bystander in the situation. My family had nothing to do with any traffic stops or traffic runs or anything like that for the situation to end in my backyard behind my house. Yet it was dealt with very as if I was a suspect in the situation from start to finish. From the time that the shooting occurred to how I was treated after I was shot, how my family was treated after the incident happened. They violated all my civil liberties as far as not having a warrant, coming into my house, treating my house as a crime scene, treating my children who were absolutely traumatized in that moment as if they were disruptive, criminals or whatever, like they were trying to keep them from doing their job. The whole situation was very unsettling, to say the least. To hear my children screaming, my girlfriend at the time screaming, get out of her house, get out of her house, and the police just totally ignore her, and detain the children, slam them to the ground, put them in handcuffs. My daughters, this is 1 o'clock in the morning. My daughters weren't even completely dressed when all of this was happening. Their father is shot. They seen it with their 2 eyes. Yes, they were traumatized in that moment, but how the police didn't have any sensitivity to the situation, not being aware of the full situation and just bombarding and stepping over a person's, a bloody body to control the situation that they caused was a bit unbelievable at the moment. So what I have been trying to do is bring attention to my situation as much as possible. I've looked at all the news reports. I've listened to what people have said. I've heard, a lot of things in these last 2 years. A lot of it is still not directed toward where it needs to be directed, as far as when the police are wrong, who's investigating, how it's being investigated, how are they investigating their own shootings and things like that, which makes it hard for the citizens to get any honesty, any transparency, any accountability from the police department. It's been very difficult these last 2 years. And as we see over and over and over again, police seem to be able to do what they want to do. They don't have to follow the same rules and regulations we all have to follow by.
Yeah, let me ask this question. So, what crime did you commit to cause the police to shoot you in your hallway in the back door of your home, and as you're shot laying on your stairs bleeding out, caused them to enter into your home, climb over your body, and then run into your house and detain your daughters and your wife, who are half dressed, at 1 o'clock in the morning? What crime did you commit that allowed for them or gave them any justification to shoot you at center mass, point blank range?
Well, all I can say is I was at the wrong place at the wrong time at my own place. Let's just put it like that. That's the best way I can explain it.
Your own place, meaning you were in your house. You were in your house.
My home, coming out my back door when this situation happened.
Right.
Chasing someone that, is familiar with the neighborhood. You understand? So the whole situation was treated as if it was a high crime, life or death situation, when overall it was this traffic stop that they did the most with, basically. It took 18 cars to do a traffic stop. It shouldn't have taken for them to release spike strips in an urban neighborhood for a traffic stop. I mean, it took 20 minutes almost for this whole ordeal to happen off a traffic stop that had nothing to do with anyone in my home. Mm-hmm. It just happened to end up at the back of my house, and like I said, I mean, the police treat these neighborhoods as high crime areas. We don't title our neighborhoods a high crime area. It's only high crime because this is where they're looking. This is the only place they're coming to look. Mm-hmm. We're dealing with that on a day-to-day basis. They don't come into our neighborhoods like they would in the suburbs. Mm-hmm. They don't go in there guns blazing. They go in there with negotiators. They come out there with people that's willing to talk and try to de-escalate the situation. In all these other neighborhoods, it's shoot first, ask questions later in my neighborhood. And that's basically what we're trying to bring attention to with this. Because, I mean, it's common occurrence. No one bats an eye.
Right.
Nothing to do with nothing that was going on with the traffic stop. I can't be a party to a crime of a traffic stop, and I'm not in the car. I'm at home watching TV with my family when all this stuff was happening. So it still felt very violated that they, were able to come into my home, confiscate property, take my phone, which they still have in their custody. I wasn't charged with anything. My family wasn't charged with anything, but they're holding money and property and things from my home, in their custody as if it's part of a crime that we had nothing to do with.
So let's get this clear so that people understand what we're talking about. The police tried to execute a traffic stop with a young man who had been afraid to stop for the police. And if I'm not mistaken, he had been afraid because the police had previously assaulted him. And if I'm not mistaken, broke his arm in a previous situation. So when they attempted to pull him over out of fear, he fled from the police. And this was over a traffic violation. Now, when the police started to pursue him, it went from 1 car pursuing him to 18 cars pursuing him. And this young man is afraid. Now, was there any other crime that this young man had committed outside of a traffic violation? Did he have any weapons? Had he shot anybody? Had he harmed anybody? Was it any type of battery? Was there drugs? Were there guns? Were there any other infractions outside of a traffic violation that caused the police to basically start chasing and hunting this young man down to where he feared for his life and attempted to flee, and then you ended up getting shot from this situation?
No. No weapons, no drugs, no nothing. From my understanding of the situation, they didn't find anything. He was 2 days away from being off of probation himself.
Mm.
So he wasn't any type of violent offender or anything of that nature?
Not at all.
So if we look at the actual body cam footage, which we'll talk about that a little bit as well, the body cam footage, we see that the police are pursuing this young man, and he's running for his life. He's dead, like he's afraid, obviously, because he's fleeing and he's running as fast as he can to get away from the police. And to give a little bit of the backstory, he once he got pulled over, he drove to his neighborhood because he was afraid to pull over in an unfamiliar area.
Absolutely.
When he drove to his neighborhood, which is the neighborhood in which you live in, he started blowing the horn so that people could come outside. Correct?
Absolutely. He has a lot of family in the neighborhood. He has a lot of family in that neighborhood. He knows a lot of people in that neighborhood. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. You could hear him in the block honking his horn for almost 5-10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Trying to bring awareness to what's going on with the police on his tail, with them blocking off the neighborhood, them pretty much corralling him into one space where he couldn't do nothing but this circle around the block, you know, for almost 18 minutes this went on, you know, and it was for him to try to bring as much attention so that when he did stop the car, they wouldn't just gun him down. They did everything they could to put him in an area that was away from the public. They drew him into the alley behind my house. It's a two-way alley, so it's 2 blocks long. It's blocked off on one side, blocked off on the other. He couldn't go nowhere else. You know, they corralled him in the back of the house. They knew what they were going to try to do anyway.
Right. So at that time, as they're chasing him and corralling him into a corner,
They had a plan.
out of fear, he starts to flee, and he runs to the closest place that he can to try to be safe.
Towards his house.
And he's running towards your home. As you're opening the door to come out and see what's going on in the back of your house, this young man is running for his life, trying to get into the door. And if you look at the body cam footage, it looks the police attempt to shoot him in the back while he's trying to run through the door. He trips and falls through the door while you're opening it. And when he trips and falls, the police who's trying to shoot him in the back shoots you center mass.
Correct.
That correct?
That's correct.
And that's what we just witnessed in the body cam footage. The police attempting to shoot this young man in the back while he was attempting to run away from them. And the only reason why they didn't shoot him in the back or in the back of the head is because he tripped and fell. And by him tripping and falling, you end up taking the bullet as an innocent person, as an innocent father who's at home with your family at the time, having a movie night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we were having our usual movie night.
So and again, I want people to understand this scenario. You're at home in bed with your wife and with your daughters having a family movie night. And then next thing you know, you're in your hallway bleeding and shot, and the police have invaded your home and occupied your home. And then you wake up in the hospital as a John Doe handcuffed to a bed.
Absolutely. Yes, they John Doe'd me at the hospital. They had all my information. I had my information before they put me in the ambulance. I was detained. You know, I wasn't Mirandized. They didn't read me my rights, none of that. I woke up from my surgery shackled to a bed with 4 officers in my room and 2 nurses. No phone, my cell phone, no hotel, no hospital phone, no nothing available to reach out to my family. I was completely detained as if I committed a crime. You know, it was something that I felt was unreal at that moment. It angered me a lot. I mean, to the point where, you know, we had to have the officers taken out of my room because I was just that irate. I felt violated. Like I said, I mean, why am I handcuffed? No one would tell me. They would keep saying, well, My supervisor will be here shortly. That was 4, 5, 6, 8 hours. My family is at home being detained for 8 to 9 hours straight. Children being questioned without no parent, no lawyer present. You know what I'm saying? They separated all my children and questioned them, even the minors. You know what I'm saying? Without a parent or a legal representation present. All of these things I know are not right. They're not legal. They're not supposed to be able to do this, but they did it. I knew it was something wrong when I'm laying in the bed, shackled to the bed, and I'm looking at the news report on the news, and the police chief is on 26 an hour on my block at 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Doing a press conference. That let me know right then and there that it's bigger than what it really should be. Not the captain, not the lieutenant. The police chief was out his bed on 26 an hour at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was more to it than what they were displaying, because I'm sitting here shackled to a bed with police officers in my room, and I hadn't committed a crime.
Let me ask you this. So once the police realized that that they had shot an innocent man, and this is post the shooting, after they invaded your house, raided your house, and detained your children, took your personal belongings, found no weapons, found out that you were not a criminal, you don't even have a criminal background, you're not a felon, you're a father, a business owner, you know, a brother, a son, a nephew, an uncle, a civilian who works every day. When they found out about how they violated you, what was the response? What has the response been to this day? Because I look here on the website, and it talks about, you know, over 2 years, and you hadn't received any justice from being, you know, violated in this way. Talk about that and where we're at with that today.
Well, I want to start with the fact that there wasn't even an investigation. They haven't even tried to investigate. I haven't been spoken to. So how is there an investigation and you haven't talked to the party that was involved in the situation? No words. I was questioned, asked 3 questions in the hospital, you know, before they released me. You know, did I know the person that they was chasing? How did I know them? And do I know anything about drugs? And I didn't know anything about nothing they was talking about. I knew who the person was, and that was it. I hadn't heard from the police department or anyone from the city or anything, not a mayor, not a governor, not an alderman, not a city council worker, not no one in the whole city government reached out to me or said anything. It's been crickets for almost 2 years, but no real investigation. There was no neighbors in my neighborhood that was really investigated to ask what that experience was like, because they were kept from leaving their homes for 7 to 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
There was no real investigation.
Right. So again, so up until this point, so here you are, again, an innocent civilian, citizen, father, who's shot in your home by the Milwaukee Police Department, and and once they find out that you're innocent, they let you go. They don't charge you with any crime. The young man that they were chasing, all of this was over a traffic violation, which they found no weapons, no guns. He's not a criminal. He's not a dangerous person in any kind of way. They attempt to shoot him in the back or in the back of the head, end up shooting you. And to this day, no one, not one of your elected officials or the city administration or police, counselors or anybody has reached out to you to communicate with you on how you've been victimized with your situation. So let's talk about the experience of being traumatized like that, and what that negligence has caused as far as the circumstances in your life.
Well, let's start with the day I came home from the hospital. I come home from the hospital, and as I pull up to my house, there's 2 police officers in the front of my house and a tow truck. We park in the back of the house. So We pull up in the back of the house. There's another vehicle of ours that's in the back of the house. So we come in the house. They get me in the house, and I hear this beeping, beep, 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 beep. I go out, tell my girlfriend at the time that it's a tow truck out there trying to tow her vehicle off the private plot in the back. We go ask them, what are y'all doing? Why are y'all moving this vehicle? They tell us, well, the city told us to come and remove this vehicle from private property. Now, this is the day I come home from the hospital. You know, it's the next day. Like they literally waited until we got home with police officers in front of my house. You know what I mean? And removed this vehicle once we got there. It was unreal, unbelievable. They kept the vehicle, the car sat in tow. They sent us a letter stating that if we don't come get the vehicle, they're gonna crush the car or put it up for auction, all of this. And we didn't go get the vehicle due to the fact that, like I said, if y'all came and got the vehicle, y'all can bring it back. We didn't ask y'all to take this vehicle off the private property. And that's pretty much what happened with that situation. I moved forward. You know, they harassed my landlord. My landlord is getting calls from the police department. The police department's putting pressure on her about certain things that they seen around the house that needed to be fixed. The landlord tries to get us out of the building. All of a sudden, the house gets shot up. My truck gets shot up. Whether it's the police department, we can't tell, whether it's the landlord, but I know it's due to the pressure of the police department that I'm going through all of this. I was illegally evicted from my home. I mean, after 2 days after the house and the truck got shot up, the locks were changed at the house. All of my belongings, everything that we own in the house was destroyed and gotten rid of. All of this happened due to the fact that the police harassing my landlord and my landlord putting pressure on us to move. February comes around, pandemic our lease wasn't up until March. So from September through March, I'm getting harassing phone calls from the landlord, threats from the landlord, months after month after month. She's saying she's not going to renew the lease, which we understood. February comes around in 2020, Corona hits. Everything shuts down. No searching for apartments. Not being able to go look for, look at any places. No one showing any places during this time. And the governor puts a mandate in for, you can't get an eviction at this point. I have a disabled person in my house who's going through cancer treatment. My girlfriend at the time was going through cancer treatment, and my landlord's trying to kick us out of a place that rent's paid up, everything's A1, but they don't want us to be there because of the pressure that they're getting from the police department. That was what I had to go through. So we moved around for almost 8 months from place to place trying to find stable living in a circumstance, in a situation where it's all out of our hands, out of our control, and everyone's telling us to take it to court. The civil situation, the police situation, everything is up in the air in the court, and no one's talking.
So in the midst of this, you're still dealing with the fact that you were almost fatally wounded, correct?
Yes. I'm going through physical therapy, mental therapy, all the kids going through therapy. It's a very expensive process. And we're not getting no assistance, no aid from the city or the state at all.
Yeah,
I was denied victim of a crime. They said because I pay child support, which is ridiculous.
I'm sorry. Hey, go back. You said what now? Say that again.
I was denied victim of a crime assistance. That's when a person who's, wasn't involved with the crime but was a victim of it. I was denied because I pay child support. I got child support. I was denied.
Hold on, Tyree. Hold on. So because you pay child support or you owe child support, they denied you the resource of financial assistance for for people who are victims of a crime.
Have been victimized.
Yeah. Yes.
And the reason why they denied you after being almost fatally shot is because you owe child support or because you have to pay child support.
Yes. I have to pay child support. I've been paying child support, but I still have a balance. And because I have a balance, they wouldn't assist me.
That's sad. That's sad.
Man. Okay.
You can't win for losing.
Oh my God,
That's
man.
beyond sad.
So
Oh
okay,
my
now
God.
one thing that we're not, again, and I've seen your wounds; they're pretty severe, and I think for people who don't understand, being shot in the manner in which you
Oh my
were,
God.
the hospital having to literally cut your body
Mm.
open,
Yeah,
to address the wound, and then, being cut open and split open, and the healing that has to take place from the damage of a bullet going into your body is something that you know
Mm.
is within itself is just amazing that you're still here today.
Thank
yeah,
God.
To say the least. But as so we know you're going through healing. You're going through all of this uh, these emotional just stresses or stressors based upon the fact that you've been victimized, violated, shot by law enforcement. Now you're homeless and you move from house to house. You're still being violated. More things are being piled on. But in the midst of you dealing with you're dealing with four daughters
correct.
and a wife, and your girlfriend, and you're all moving from house to house, and all of them have been a part of this experience. All of them
Absolutely.
witnessed you being shot. All of them witnessed you bleeding. All of them witnessed you being taken away from the home. All of them witnessed not being able to be in contact with you or not knowing where you were at because you were John Doe in the hospital. So
Yeah, they
now,
were escorted off the premises. Three
and
times they were escorted off the
and your
premises
daughters
every
were
time.
actually detained and escorted off of the premises. These are teenage young women, young
Mhm.
ladies
Yeah.
who are being interrogated by police after simply um, having a family night with their dad, watching a movie, and now experiencing basically their home being terrorized
And double victimized
and
for that
and, and
matter.
everyone being victimized in the
Hmm.
entire house.
Yes.
Can we talk a little bit about how the experience for your family has been and how you've overcome or how you're overcoming, helping them to deal with their trauma, with their hurt, and with their pain from this circumstance?
Well, I'm very big on being open and communicating. I mean, I don't sugarcoat anything with my kids. I'm very direct and upfront with them about what's going on, what I'm going through, and what they may be going through and experiencing. I believe that communication is the best way to, build that connection and that bridge so that they can be open to get the things off of their chest that they've went through. Um, they go to therapy. They have, to see a psychologist. We all have to see a psychologist. I go through physical therapy twice a week. For them, it's mainly being able to try our best to get back to at least some form of normal, and that's the hardest thing because a lot of times they don't want to get up. They don't want to deal with anything. They're thinking about um, that night quite often. 4th of July, New Year's. These are very traumatizing moments for me in my household.
Mhm.
Very traumatizing for my family in my household because every 4th of July you hearing fireworks and guns and everything going off where we're all on edge. New Year's, same thing. So these traumas are reoccurring and they're consistent. Every time you hear a siren, it's jarring in my household. And I don't know when we'll ever get over that. I don't know if we'll ever get over that. So it's difficult. It's very, very difficult.
Mhm.
I have to get up every day. I have to still go out and be in traffic and, take the kids to school or to work or this is that and the other. And, the police they're not shy in our neighborhood. So they everywhere.
Mhm.
So it's constant trauma, everyday trauma that I deal with, just seeing them coming.
Right.
It ain't even got to be for me. It's just the fact that I see them coming.
Right.
And I don't know how they're going to respond to, a lot of the things that I say, or, I can only speak the truth. I'm doing this because a lot of people don't get the opportunity to. 90% of the people shot by the police don't survive.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of the 10% of the people that actually survived the situation with enough cognitive understanding to explain what I went through and
Right.
still be able to, let people know what the experience was like, and I'm not afraid to do it. It's what it is because it needs to be done. It needs to be said because no one really looks at it from this point of view, this particular point of view. George Floyd can't say what I'm saying. Breonna Taylor can't say what I'm saying. They're not here anymore. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel obligated in a lot of ways to just say it.
Definitely.
What it is, a call for respect. I mean, they did their best to try to cover this up for almost 2 years. You
Right.
got to in 2019. It wasn't no march, no push for Trayvon Martin or Breonna Taylor, and it wasn't none of that when I got shot. I marched. I went in front of Madison, marched around the Capitol, stood on the Capitol steps, and yelled at the top of my lungs about what I experienced. And it went on deaf ears. I've been on news channels. You know what I'm saying? Speaking about the situation, and it's still been crickets. No reply, no response, no concern, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
2 whole years I did this. There's a track record. That's why I put the website together, is for people to see the timestamps. You can see what's been going on with the dysfunction in this city as far as the police chief, the police department, the fire and police commission. Everything is dysfunctional, and it's blatant. It's public dysfunction. And no one's addressing it. No one's dealing with it while everything is getting swept up underneath the rug. You know, um, we steady shelling out taxpayer dollars to people who, and that part is the fact that it's so commonplace that they almost deal with it like it's normal.
Well, let me say this. And again, I just want to make sure that people understand where we're at with your circumstance. Here you are again as a father, victimized in your home. Your whole family's victimized. You're shot, uh, and again, having to heal. Not only were you shot, but then now it's the post. You have to heal. You're not able to work. Your body's recovering. Your family's just got kicked out of their home. Your girlfriend or your wife is going through chemotherapy. She has cancer. You have a disabled child in the home. Your home is shot up. You're harassed, and you're going through all of these circumstances when it all started out with you having a simple family night with your children in the bed watching a movie together, and then in one instance where the police made a mistake, your whole life has changed to where you have to
Yeah,
go through all these circumstances. And then the city of Milwaukee, from the mayor's office to the fire and police commission to the police department to your elected officials, no one has reached out to you and say, "Hey, Mr. Davis, is there anything that we can do?" You were denied assistance for victims of crimes because you owe child support, or because you're paying child support and you have a balance and your balance is not paid off. You're sitting here going through all of these circumstances as a father who's carrying around a wife and 4 children. And in the midst of that, you're healing from a near fatal gunshot wound. Is that the correct summary of this
that's correct.
circumstance?
That's
Hmm?
correct. The whole time fighting, the whole time trying to get evidence, whole time I waited a year and a half before I even got the body cam footage. You know, like I said, I could have released it in March, but it wasn't about releasing the body cam footage. It was about getting all the evidence. I'm still waiting on the rest of the body cam footage of what they did to my family while I was in an ambulance on the way to the hospital. How they dealt with my children. I found out my child was slammed to the ground. I see bruises on her arms from the handcuffs. I see, they had to call an ambulance for scrapes and scratches. Why is my children having to have an ambulance come look at my children, and no one's giving the parents the reports.
Mm-hmm.
No one's talking to the parents about what's going on and what really happened. You know, it's sickening.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no way to explain that. They're still keeping a lot of the evidence and proof of what really happened away. You know, so I have to wait to see this in court, I guess, you know, which is unfair. Everything that they record on their body cam footage should be public information, should be public knowledge. The people need to see it. The people need to know what's going on. Because
right. So when we talk about what's going on as of today, Brother Tyree, where are you at with the case today, with the circumstances that are surrounding the case, and you know, with the time that we have left, what is it that you want people to know? What else do you want people to know about you, about this circumstance, you know, and what we need to do, what you need to have done to have resolve in this situation, or to bring some type of closure to this situation?
I'm directly looking for policy changes. There's that I really want to bring awareness to this situation is the factor that one, police officers have too much power and control over that body cam footage. I personally believe, and a lot of others personally believe, that when you're on duty, you're on duty. You shouldn't have control over an on or off button of your camera. They should be held at a higher standard than anyone else because they have the power to control and manipulate circumstances like they do. If that's the case, we should hold them at a higher standard and make sure that they don't have no off button while they're on duty. When your camera's on, your camera's on. Watch what you say. Watch what you do. Watch how you handle the situation. And that, to me, will prevent a lot of the misconceptions, a lot of the, you know, hiding, a lot of the posturing and things that they're doing with these body cam footage that doesn't make sense when we're here for truth and justice, and y'all supposed to be here to uphold the laws of the land. It's simple. That's the first thing. Second thing I really want to bring attention to and hope that people really understand that the fight has to happen. A lot of us don't want to speak about how things are being handled and dealt with. People need to pull out their camera phones. People need to fight. People need to really stand up for their civil liberties because ain't nobody else gonna stand up for us. You know, we can protest, we can speak, we can do all of that in groups and masses, but it takes sheer numbers. It takes case numbers. That's what's important, case numbers against the city, against the police department in every situation, every time it happens. You see somebody pulled over, you pull over too, pull your phone out, help the next person next to you so that things are very transparent because they're holding all the details. They're holding all the cards and they'll use them to their advantage as long as we allow them to. And that's the best I could say. You know, we all need to be aware of that. We all need to be more attentive to that and be willing to share the knowledge and the information, because I got a lot of Facebook messages and videos from people in the neighborhood showing how they corralled the neighborhood, what they did and how they dealt with it that night. People who know me, people who seen me around the neighborhood, you know, and that was a blessing to have this evidence that the police never investigated at this current point in time. Case haven't been, you know, it's ongoing. We're just getting started. They haven't set no dates or anything like that, but we're going to see how this thing goes from here. You know, it's pretty much one of the last few times I'm going to pretty much talk about this because I done did everything that I can at this point to bring attention to this.
Yeah. And again, man, we thank you for having, you know, just having the courage to come on and share your story with us, you know, here at Soul of the City, because, you know, these are some of the real issues that we have to address. And it's people like yourself who are really the heroes in our community. You know, when you talk about having to just be a father, be a Black man, be positive, you know, to support your family, to go through what it takes to heal and to, you know, to have a stable mind and to still persevere and then use your voice for change, you know, through the circumstance where, like you said, most Black men who have been shot by the police don't survive, you know. So your story is even more tremendous because you shouldn't have to be dead in order for you to have a voice, you know. And I think one of the things that is more sickening is that you have survived, you're alive, and to a great extent, they've tried to silence you. You know, they haven't given you the respect of a person who's been victimized in our community or the decency to say, is there anything we can do to right this wrong? And now you're tied up in litigation, you're tied up in court, but the whole time you're still persevering, you're still overcoming, and you're still using your voice to raise awareness around these type of circumstances. I look at your website, it says you want transparency, accountability, deny immunity. These are very specific things that you didn't have to request or ask for these things. You know, you didn't have to say, hey, even though this happened to me, I want to make sure that I want to use my experience to make sure that it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Absolutely.
And you've put together your website for people to be able to communicate with you and reach out to you. How can people get in touch with you and communicate with you and support this case and keep up with the progress of the Tyree Davis or the Davis case?
Yes, you can go online, www.thecasefordavis.com. Sign up. You know, I'll be putting updates up about my case. I'll also be, you know, sharing a lot of opportunities for people who are going through some of the things that I've been through, some of the families, and we try to stay connected as a unit. The, you know, Jacob Blake family, the Acevedos, all of us have been going through these same situations, and we try to stay connected and bring awareness to some of the things that we go through in the city of Milwaukee. Like I said, it's one of the most segregated, some say the worst place for Black people to live in the whole United States, but this is home to us. This is where I was born and raised. This is where I'm from, you know, and I'm not turning my back on it. And I want everyone else to, you know, not turn their back on the city too. We got to make some changes and got to do something about this.
Hey, like I said, we're going to close out with this interview, Brother Tyree, but I just want to say again, you know, I'm thankful that I've had the opportunity to get to know you, you know, as a man, as like I said, as a brother, as a man of business in our community, as a father, you know, and I'm also thankful that you're healing, you know, and that you're doing well as you can be under the circumstances, because again, no one's walking in your shoes, you know, and a person not walking in your shoes, they really can't understand it. So we're thankful to have you on the platform to use your voice for change, you know, and we want people to make sure that they continue to stay updated on the case for Davis, who you are, what you're going through. A lot of people don't know that you've accumulated a lot of debt, you know, medical bills for you and your family, and just, again, trying to, you know, do everything you can to raise capital and have funds. Is there anything that you're doing where people can help you in that area?
Yes. Like I said, you can reach out to me through thecasefordavis.com. If you're feeling generous or whatever, you can definitely connect with me there. I reach out to everyone. I check every email. I check every message, and we can work and go from there. Fundraisers. I'm trying to do whatever I can, you know, to try to raise funds for me and my family to get us, you know, to the next step until things get addressed and dealt with. Like I said, we're going into year 3. It's just a matter of figuring out how this thing gonna work out from this point.
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. You look well. You know, we talk regularly. You know, and like I said, you know, we're gonna stay. You know, we're gonna see this thing all the way through. You know, and again, my goal today was to just continue to not allow your situation or your circumstance to be forgotten.
Absolutely.
And, you know, as a community, this is our home. And there are other people who have been victimized in this way, and who, you know, who haven't had the opportunity to have their voice be heard. And it's good that you're on the front line where people can connect with you and we can mobilize with them, and we can continue to move forward to bring forth change and policy and procedure in the way, you know, our community is policed, the way it's legislated, the way they're responding to us as Black people when we're victimized. All of these things are very critical, as we move forward to improve our quality of life. And I thank you, man, for, again, having the courage and being, that real hero, from a perspective of, not allowing yourself to be down on yourself, but still fighting the fight to get through this. So, man, I appreciate you, and we thank you for coming on Soul of the City today.
I thank you. I appreciate you for giving me this opportunity, man. I really do.
Okay, my brother. I'll be in touch soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That was a lot.
But you know what I think is very powerful?
Great.
You see how that brother has, the demeanor, calm demeanor.
Yeah, he was very calm. He was very calm and cool and collected.
And he is,
and very I can see the anger
mm-hmm.
in his eyes.
Right.
Because again, he has a love, especially for his wife
mm-hmm.
and his children. That's all he kept mentioning.
Yeah.
His wife and his children, his wife and family night, his wife and his children.
Right.
Not knowing that they laying in bed, movie night. He go out, he hears sirens, and there you go. He land on the floor, bleeding to death, literally.
So can you play the video one more time?
I mean, just outrageous.
And then again, and for those, again, I just want people to really imagine this being.
Imagine
you're laying in your bed,
and
with your children and wife having family night.
Family. That's all he kept mentioning. Like unbelievable.
Right. And
like
this occurs.
This occurs. Like, oh my God. Here we go.
Stop! Let me get a fucking ass! Right now! Let me get a fucking ass! Shot fired!
So that's the guy they were chasing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let it play. Now listen to all this screaming and howling.
Yeah. Those are daughters. That's him. Jesus.
He turned around like this. Oh, Jesus.
Oh, God.
So.
That's unbelievable. I mean, just.
Unbelievable. I think the other thing is to.
That's just outrageous.
To see how the police just immediately.
Changed the whole, just.
Went into telling a lie.
A whole lie.
There were so many, in that little 30 seconds,
yeah.
So many things happened right there.
Mm-hmm.
To see the police officer.
A whole lie.
Immediately.
Mm-hmm. Cover up.
To immediately tell a lie.
Covered up, yep.
And turn around and say, he went like this. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Imagine how many black men are shot down and killed by the police.
And not able to live to tell the story like
and then you have to think, in that situation, the police tried to shoot the young man who was running from them in the back.
Absolutely. They were trying to kill him.
Yes, the man wasn't running towards them. He was doing everything he could to get away.
All right. Running from them.
He was running from them. So the police literally attempted to shoot him in the back.
Right.
He would have shot him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And then you shoot an innocent person.
That's right. Yeah.
What? And now this man has sat here for over 2 years fighting in the system to try to get some resolve for him and his family.
Yeah.
To have to heal.
Tawana said they learned to get their narrative out there. Yeah, that's true. They learned to get their narrative out there real quick. That's true.
He has to heal.
Yeah,
he has to move from house to house. He can't work.
Yeah. And then he said that when they put him in the ambulance and they took him in, they handcuffed him to the bed.
Yes.
No phone, no hospital phone, no cell phone.
And he can't even be located.
He can't be. He's
'Cause
located as a John
He's listed
Doe,
as a John Doe.
and he didn't even commit a crime. And then he sees on TV. He saw on television the police chief is in front of his house.
Why he's handcuffed?
Why he's handcuffed? He's like, come on,
dude. So what I'm
that is just
my point. You know, and my point is that
yeah,
in our community,
yeah, that's crazy.
individuals
That's crazy.
are experiencing some of the most challenging circumstances.
That's horrific, y'all.
That a person could ever go through.
Mm-hmm.
And to see him looking healthy, doing his best to keep himself up.
Right.
And we're working on a lot of things together now. You know, that's my brother. You know, when we talk about, like I said, I went to go see Spider-Man yesterday. The superhero.
Right.
We got some real life superheroes in our community that exist. And then we're still taking for granted how challenging it is for Black men to survive in our society. We're constantly not acknowledging that Black men are an endangered species. Every day, a Black man is being murdered. A Black man is being killed. A Black man is suffering from every type of circumstance. The man said that because he had a child support balance, he was not able to receive.
He was denied
assistance from being a victim of a crime.
Yes.
Not because he wasn't paying child support, but because he owed a balance.
He had a balance. Yeah.
Now this man is sitting here running around with 4 daughters and a wife,
taking care of his daughters,
taking care of the whole family.
That's sad.
And all the time he's healing from almost being fatally.
And he didn't even commit a crime. The thing.
The man is not a criminal. The man doesn't have a criminal record. The man's not a felon. They ran through his house and raided. They didn't find drugs. They didn't find guns. They didn't charge him with anything.
Why is he being misrepresented?
And then the young man who they tried to kill, the only thing they charged him with was fleeing from the police because he was afraid. They didn't find weed, they didn't find drugs, they didn't find guns, they didn't find weapons on this young man. The young man was simply afraid.
Did this go national?
It has went national, and it's going national now.
How come?
But again, there are so many circumstances that continue to happen in our community that we forget so fast. Because tomorrow is going to be another Black man dead. And the next day is going to be another Black man dead. And the next day is going to be another Black man dead. To the point where we're so desensitized about it that no one cares that Black men are being killed and harmed and maimed and dying off every single day.
Why did this lay dormant for 2 years, though? I don't understand.
Good question.
Though.
Why wouldn't all of the people who are elected officials and people who claim that they care about the community, whether it's your alderman, your state representative, your senator, your congressman, your county supervisor, hell, your school board member.
Sorry.
You know,
sorry about that.
It don't matter if they're a resident of this community, if they're an elected official in this community, they should be aware of how people are violated in this community, and they should be reaching out to individuals who are having these circumstances and doing everything that they can to help this man bring resolve.
Has NAACP gotten involved in this?
Man, come on, the NAACP ain't gotten involved in nothing. Not even where's the NAACP? They too busy running around fighting for transgender rights.
There's something that has.
They too busy fighting for the LGBT.
And then they haven't even released the rest of the video. I mean the footage.
Man, look. Then they haven't even given the man all of the footage.
No.
You know. So again, look at the failure of the institutions in our community when it comes to a citizen.
Oh my God.
This man's a citizen. This man's a civilian. This man is a hard-working father.
A business owner.
A business owner.
A hard worker.
This is not a man who was climbing through somebody's bedroom window or raping or robbing somebody. And how do you have individuals in our community who are a part of all these organizations, but if he would have got killed, if he would have been dead, then everybody would have came out and tried to try to get in the limelight and say,
Mhm.
well, now we gotta fight for Tyree Davis
Right.
because it would have been a higher profile situation
Yes, they
if
are.
the man would have been dead.
Yes, Tawana, they are still holding some of his property. He did say they are still
Yeah.
holding his cell phone, money. Yes, they are. And why are they still holding some of his property?
It's going on 3 years. It's happened
Why?
in 2019.
But why are they still holding his property?
But if he would have got shot, if
he would've died.
the police would have killed
If he
him,
would have died. Yeah.
everybody and their mama would have came to help this man.
Oh my God.
If the police would have killed him, they would have all came and showed up to try to fight for Tyree Davis.
Then I'm really sad.
But the man is alive. And not one person. This just shows you how fraudulent the leadership is in the community with these organizations and with these so-called electeds who want to act like they're fighting for the freedom and the liberty and the understanding to help people in our community. Now here the man is that been shot, been victimized, and has had to go through all of this, and not one person from your elected community or from these organizations has attempted to help this man in any kind of way.
I really feel bad for him.
So
I really
you
do.
tell me where we at with it.
He's been really misrepresented in every way.
How does no one come to help him?
In every way. Misrepresented in every way.
And that's why I
from
say
every angle.
That's why I say
from the alderman on down.
Yeah, but we talking about Me Too movements. We talking
Black
about Black Lives Matter.
From every angle on
down. LGBTQs and all of this kind of stuff.
God.
And when it all boils down to it, no life is in more danger than a black man.
There you go.
You just saw it with your own eyes. And we see it every day. And again, it goes back to, what are we going to do? How long do we stay dormant? How long do we stay quiet? How long do we stay, in a position? Because as long as it's just they killing niggas, don't nobody care.
Right.
That's how they look at it.
Mm-hmm.
That's and it's upsetting because it's happening every day. And then black
upsetting.
men are so down. Look, I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave it alone. We can move on to the next conversation. That was the Tyree Davis, the case for Tyree Davis.
Yeah, that's
another
touching.
black man in our community that has been victimized. But again,
but he was a survivor.
But
on
he's
a positive note, he survived it.
Yeah, he's a survivor.
And he's healing from it. Like he said, he and his family, they're going through therapy. But he's yet fighting for justice. He's still fighting for justice. And
but like I said, it just upsets me because if his head would have been blown off, then everybody would have came and tried to stand and act like they cared about him. But here this man is out here struggling with his family to heal and to overcome this situation, to deal with the mental trauma of the situation. And not one person have reached out to the man to communicate with him or try to help him. He can't even get assistance from the city who shot him. That's not cool. Why? Because he's a black man. Yeah. And that's the value that's how they see us. So when we hear about all these other groups and all these other representations that's going on in our community, I don't want to hear none of it. If you're not sitting here acknowledging that the life of black men is endangered at an all-time high,
and he said he even
talking about nobody else's rights.
He said he even went to the state capitol.
Yeah. And
what did they do?
Protested
and
look.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Right.
All right.
So with that being said, please stay in tune to what's happening with Brother Tyree Davis.
Yeah.
What's the website
again? You can go to the name of his website is called the carefordavis.com. The casefordavis.com. The casefordavis.com. All right. And you can also if you would like to join him, again, you can go to his website called the casefordavis.com. The casefordavis.com. We're going to take a quick break. All right. Be right back right after this.
It's HD Graphic Design and Print, where they provide innovative and quality designs. They provide custom business cards, flyers, obituaries, events tickets, t-shirts, banners, and more. They are the one-stop shop for all your graphic designs and printing needs. Call today at 414-699-7729. That's 414-699-7729. Or visit them on the web at hdmediagrp.com. HD Graphic and Print. Let them make your next event a memorable one. It's HD Graphic Design and Print, where they provide...
on the Solar City Gospel Radio Show. 40 minutes after the hour of 2 o'clock p.m. We are in the home stretch of the show. Keep in mind, y'all, don't forget to download that app on your mobile device. Go there now. It is free. Download that app today. And it's one word, HD Radio Online. HD Radio Online. Go to that mobile Play Store on your phone right now. You're always on your phone. Just go there now and download the app, HD Radio Online. All right. So, in other news, Dennis, did you hear about that fire in the Bronx yesterday?
Oh, no, you was telling me about it.
Yeah.
I did not hear about that.
Yeah, got to check it out. More than a dozen people remain in critical condition today following the Bronx building fire that killed 19 children. Killed 19, including 9 children. Yeah. My God, I gotta check out the story. Here it is right here. I'll let you check it out yourself. All right. Here it is. Let me
A
try to play
horrific
this clip.
scene
Here
in
it
the
is.
Bronx. 19 people were killed during a 5-alarm blaze at a Bronx apartment building. Officials are calling it the worst fire the city has seen in 30 years. Let's get outside now to Fox 5's Robert Moses. He's live in the Fordham Heights section of the Bronx with the latest details. Robert?
Kayla, adding to the tragedy here is the age of the victims. Among the 19 dead are 9 children. And when you look at this building and you see the kaleidoscope of broken windows, you realize no corner of it was spared.
They just pulled a little boy out. Oh my God.
Video posted on Citizen app captured flames licking the side of the Twin Parks Northwest apartment complex, a 19-story building with 120 apartments in the West Bronx. Fire Commissioner Daniel Nigro says yesterday morning's fire started in a malfunctioning electric space heater in a bedroom in a duplex that spanned the 2nd and 3rd floors. It's the worst fire the city has seen in more than 3 decades.
The numbers are horrific.
They might not have been so horrific had the door to the apartment where the fire started been closed, but it stayed open, allowing smoke to spread.
The smoke spread throughout the building, thus the tremendous loss of life and other people fighting for their lives.
People who live in the building say they initially ignored the smoke alarms they heard because that sound is pretty much a daily occurrence. This time, though, was different, and those inside quickly realized they had to get out.
When we opened that door, the smoke was hit us, and we ran to the hallway to the exit, and I just panicked and I got scared. I was coming down the stairs and saw a body sitting on the floor.
Oh my God.
Like, this is crazy.
Firefighters who found victims on every floor worked frantically while putting their own lives in jeopardy.
Their air tanks contained a certain amount of air. They ran out of air, many of our members, and they continue working to try to get as many people out as they could.
The city has not seen a fire this deadly since the fire at the Happy Land nightclub, also in the Bronx, in 1990 that killed 87 people. Many who call this building home are immigrants from the Gambia in West Africa. Governor Kathy Hochul met with some of the survivors.
Scores of family who are in such grief, who are in pain. To see it in a mother's eyes as I held her, who lost her entire family.
Jesus.
It's hard to fathom what they're going through.
Yeah, so definitely praying for that situation there. So, oh my God. Yeah. So there you have it. So definitely praying for those families.
Wow. You know, and I've
That's
spent
sad.
a lot of time in New York
Oh my God.
because my sister lives
Those high-riser buildings,
Those
tall
buildings,
buildings.
Man, look.
You said they got those tall buildings down there.
19 stories. They
19
got something that's taller than that.
Wow.
All the people in those buildings. I used to always think, when I go through New York, I'll be like,
Yeah.
who live way up there?
Way up there.
You know, do you see people yelling out the window, screaming out the window and stuff?
Yeah.
But I always think like, man, if something happened, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of those buildings are like so old.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then again, people are dealing with so many, dealing with so many circumstances.
Right.
This fire started over a space
heater. Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
This time of the year, people are using, when we talked about it earlier, people are using so many alternative methods to heat their home.
That's right.
That these type of situations can occur. And then you heard the people say they heard the smoke detector.
Yep, but they ignored it.
But just imagine how many times you hear a smoke detector going off, or there's somebody that burnt up something in the house, or something on the stove and cooked for too long when you hear the smoke, or they smoke a weed or something, or anything, and the smoke detector go off.
Right.
So they so used to hearing the smoke detector that they didn't even respond to.
Right.
That's sad.
Very sad.
But it's just more of, you know, when we bring up these type of stories, it's just more to raise awareness for those who are listening to be more precautious and be careful. Because this can happen to anybody.
That's right. Yeah. So definitely praying for those families that have lost those loved ones. All right. So speaking of that, Dennis, you remember Full House?
Yes.
Bob Saget, he passed away on yesterday. Bob Saget, the father.
Yeah.
Tanner.
Got you.
Yeah, he passed away. They found him dead yesterday, age
Did they?
65, in a hotel in Orlando on
Let me see what he
yesterday.
looks like.
Bob Henner?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
He was 65.
65. Yeah.
And they found him dead where?
Yesterday in Orlando.
In a hotel?
In a hotel.
Oh, wow. That's
There
not
he
good.
is.
That's not good.
You see him? There he is right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So, yes, a lot going on.
A lot going on in the world today.
A lot going on in the world today.
But I will say this,
What
I am thankful for Soul of the City.
Yes.
And if anyone is interested in telling their story, not only, of course, we want you to advertise and, be sponsors of the show.
Yes.
But we also want to make sure that we're doing our best to get your information out there.
That's right.
To make contact with those everyday people who are doing some tremendous things and their stories are not being heard, such as a Tank, Larry Tank Purdue, who was a good friend of mine who I had the opportunity to go to high school with and, have had and only seen positive from him and to still be, brothers today, as grown men in our 40s and to see that he's went back to Marshall and he's working as a coach for the football team and, that he's using his story to inspire young people and still staying focused on, improving the lives of other Black men and Black people. It's something very powerful that we have to continue to bring exposure to these brothers.
That's right.
When you have a Tyree Davis who is fighting for his survival.
We want to hear your story.
We want to hear your story.
That's
we want to keep continuing to bring these type of stories to the light.
Right.
And
bring awareness.
Yeah, and keep shining the light on Black men.
Right.
That's my fight. That's my plight. Bringing awareness to the suffering of Black men. Like I said, we can talk about I don't even want to talk about all these other issues. I don't talk about no illegal immigrants. I don't want to talk about no gay people. None of that.
Right.
That's
the last thing
women's rights.
About.
I don't talk about no women's rights and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
When we start looking at the fact that every day a Black man is being murdered and incarcerated and dying from every kind of issue,
and nothing has been done about it, right?
And people are just acting like it's just another Black man dead. That's not cool,
right?
So somebody got to raise the consciousness. But again, but I'm not gonna get back off into all of that.
Yes.
But, whatever your story is, we will honor it. But I'm just saying that there's a priority to certain things that are happening in our community around Black men, and I want to make sure that we stay focused on that as well.
For sure. All right. 49 minutes after the hour, 2:00 p.m. We're going to end the show on the brighter note, Dennis. Well, Wisconsin's only gas station owned by a Black woman, Dennis, has been sold.
Yeah, Miss Diane.
Yeah,
I heard about. I know the people who financed it. I'm actually looking to get them on an interview.
It's been sold to another Black woman.
Yes.
Okay. So the BP gas station on 8th and Atkinson, of course, as we know, just west of I-43, was sold by Stowers Property Holdings LLC by Miss Diane to Creations Enterprises, led by Kai Trimble Leah. That's according to Northwest Side Community Development Corp, which provided to $893,000 loan to help finance the purchase and renovations of the property. The nonprofit's group loan fund is supported by PNC Bank.
Well, shout out to Northwest Side CDC.
Major shout out.
And I'm gonna give a name out that
shout out.
Again, another Black man who is doing some very powerful things in our community. He's doing it quietly. Mr. Will Smith. Willie Smith over there at the Northwest Side CDC. I'm trying to get him on for an interview, but he's just such a quiet giant in
Yeah.
our community
Well,
right
bring
now.
that giant on.
Yeah, but so he's not looking for too much exposure.
Yeah.
He's just getting the job done.
Okay.
I really appreciate that, brother. We're alumni. We graduated from Marquette together. The ACRE program, the first ACRE program.
Yeah.
And he's one of them brothers that has went on to do some great things.
Okay.
As far as giving back and being in a position
That's good.
to help. And it's a wonderful thing that he was able to
That's what's up.
Help them to acquire this property.
Mm-hmm.
When I talked to Miss Diane, she had been saying that she wanted to sell the gas station.
Okay.
But she wanted to make sure she sold it to someone who looks like her.
Right.
She wanted to make sure that a black person took over that gas station.
There you go.
And she held on all the way up until she's gotten another black woman, which again I think that's a very powerful thing. That's good. That another black woman is moving into that level of entrepreneurship and ownership. Yes. And following in her footsteps. So shout out to Miss Diane. Yes. Shout out to to the sister who just purchased the gas station. That's good. And shout out to my brother Will Smith over at Northwest Side CDC. Wonderful. For helping to finance that deal. Okay. And keeping that asset in our community. For sure. That's very powerful.
Wonderful. On that note, 52 minutes after the hour of 2:00 p.m., this concludes the Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us. We hope that you all enjoyed the show today. Again, you can come back and you can look at the show again with both of the interviews. Again, with the interview with our good friend Larry Tank Purdue. Don't forget to go to Amazon Kindle, check out the book, pick up the book Fullback. You're going to enjoy this book. It's very good. Definitely. Trying to tell you, very good. And also check out the exclusive video of our good friend Tyree. You can go to thecasefordavis.com and check out the video as well. And you can also support him on his website as well. And again, just check out the video and also this show, Soul of the City Gospel Radio Show with Brother Dennis Walton and myself.
Who?
I said Brother Dennis Walton and myself. Hush. You know I talk fast. Brother Dennis Walton and myself. Sister Soraya. All right, y'all. Join us on next week. Don't forget to download that app, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Can't stress it enough.
Let me say it.
Go.
HD Radio online.
Right.
One word.
One word.
One word. Go to your app store. Your Google Play Store or your Apple Store.
Right.
HD Radio online.
Right.
One word. And download the app.
And don't forget to become our friend on Facebook.com and go to HD Higher Dimension Radio and also Instagram as well, Twitter, LinkedIn, and TikTok. I gotta learn TikTok too, y'all. Please forgive me.
We're on Instagram?
Yes, we are. And Twitter and LinkedIn.
I gotta learn all that.
And I gotta learn TikTok as well. What is this shaking?
Oh man.
Stop.
You're so nervous.
Love y'all so much. All right, see y'all next week, okay? All right, y'all, keep it here. Get off my line.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm tired of you.